Roll call.
Trustee Edmondson.
Under roll call.
Present. Trustee Dickinson.
Present.
Trustee Donnelly.
Present.
Trustee Jackson Miller. Present. Trustee Gray.
Present. Okay, we are going to move to public comment for closed session items. We have two closed session items. One is on the comprehensive school safety plan. One is on conference with labor negotiator. So we have four that look to be for the same topic. So we're going to start with Lauren Westerberg.
Just because it's a large room, if you're comfortable sitting and using the mic, it's helpful for people to hear.
Okay, sure. I am Italian, so I'm very loud. So I'm going to sit back. Good evening, Superintendent Turnbull and trustees. I'm here again tonight because the urgency has not changed. Our teachers need to be paid a living wage. That is not a luxury. It's foundational to retaining the educators who sustain our schools. At the same time, I recognize the fiscal pressures facing this district. We are navigating funding uncertainty, enrollment declines, rising healthcare premiums, and shrinking reserves. These challenges are not unique to us. They reflect a broader systemic strain across public education in California. I understand the importance of protecting reserves and planning conservatively. Fiscal prudence and long-term stability both matter. That being said, the district currently holds reserves at approximately 4 times the state's required minimum. A 3% raise would reduce reserves by just over 1 percentage point in the short term, while still maintaining a meaningful fiscal cushion. This is not a question of whether we value fiscal responsibility. We do. The question is whether preserving reserves at their current level outweighs the immediate and accelerating risk of losing experienced educators. We are asking the district to use reserves strategically, to prioritize teacher retention and build a bridge toward longer-term systemic solutions without sacrificing the educators who hold our classrooms together. Long-term district longevity is not achieved through reserve protection alone. It depends on retaining the teachers who make our schools strong. If we cannot pay educators a wage that allows them to live in the community they serve, we risk destabilizing classrooms far faster than any spreadsheet projection. I sit here, among a community of helpers and doers. Many of us had never attended a board meeting before this year. Now we're speaking at them. We're learning how to read budgets. We're organizing. We're preparing for a 2028 parcel tax initiative because we believe this community has already demonstrated through Measure P that it will invest in its public schools. We're paying attention. We're engaged. And we are committed to using every available resource to ensure our teachers remain in this district. I am not here with a closed fist. I'm here with an open hand, asking for creative collaboration and shared prioritization. If adjustments can be made within district leadership compensation due to role changes, then difficult decisions can also be made to create space for the educators who directly serve our students every day. District leadership compensation cannot remain competitive while teachers struggle to make ends meet in one of the most expensive regions in the country. Fiscal stability is essential, but losing teachers because we failed to act carries its own cost, and that cost is immediate. We are asking you to meet the energy this community is bringing, to sit on the same side of the table, and to demonstrate that teacher retention is not a secondary priority. Because this is not just about our teachers. It's about who we are as a district and what future we're willing to invest in. Thank you.
Anna Beard.
Hello, good evening. So I have stood here before you to ask you to protect Santa Cruz Gardens, our special school, deeply valuable to this community and to children of all backgrounds. Weeks ago, I asked you to give our teachers a raise because they deserve a livable wage, and our kids deserve stability, qualified educators, and experienced resource specialists. Without that stability, we lose the very people who make this school strong. You told us no stone has been left unturned. You told us the district budget is constrained. So let's talk about the numbers. The real cost burden in this district is the administrative cost, not teacher salary. I took a look at what is publicly available and looking at the cost of superintendents and assistant superintendents across the district. Our cost per children is over 300 per student, is over $300. Live Oak, same thing. Tahoe Valley, only $31. Santa Cruz City, $155. SoCal spends more per student on administrative than most districts in the county, especially larger districts. When we looked at the cost, it's San Jose, Unified, $29 per student. Santa Clara, $89 per student. San Francisco, $42. These districts manage far more students, yet spend significantly less per student on top administration. When a superintendent receives raises and vacancies are, we see vacancies, and instead of taking that cost burden and redirecting it to teacher salary, these dollars should be reaching the classrooms. They should be reaching our teachers. Instead, they stay in the office, and we're told administration is absorbing more responsibility, yet teachers absorb more and more responsibility every single day. And then there was yesterday. Let's talk about what our teachers had to face when there was an emergency. A tree was down. There was no power. Our teachers had to wait to get into a service road to get up to school. And instead of telling them, you know what, we're not going to have school today, you asked them to do more. You asked them to teach in the dark. You asked them to teach in the cold. Who deserves a raise, administration or our teachers? So I ask you today to do what is right by our teachers. It is, to me, when I looked at the numbers and the fact that all the districts in this county are spending over $4.4 million in administrative costs for 38,000 students, and San Jose and San Francisco have over 95,000 students and are spending 4.3. It is absolutely outrageous. I'm done.
Jessica Zappacosta.
I want to begin by saying I don't want to be here tonight. We are living in a time when there is so much demand for advocacy, and at the heart of it lies our values. It's intimidating to stand up here, sit up here, and believe that what I have to say matters enough that you will truly listen and take action. But this issue has weighed heavily on me, and when something keeps you up at night, you know it's time to take a stand. I even brought my children here tonight so they can witness me doing something uncomfortable. Standing up for something I believe in. That's a lesson we try to teach them, and it's one I hope our district models as well. I voted for you as the board of our district in trust that you would act in the best interest of our schools. I believe you would do your due diligence to ensure this district runs effectively and with integrity. And that word, integrity, is why I'm here tonight. Integrity is something we work hard to teach our children. It lives in our classrooms every day through teachers who show up prepared, committed, dedicated to our students' growth. They model accountability, perseverance, and respect. When we elect you, the board, we trust that you will lead with that same integrity, asking hard questions, reviewing information independently, and making decisions grounded in what is truly best for the district. We're being told there isn't enough money to provide our teachers with a comparable, frankly, livable salary. No functioning organization can survive without retaining qualified staff. Retention is prioritized and budgeted because without committed professionals, the organization fails. So how can this district function without a commitment to retaining qualified teachers? We are asking them to give 100% while telling them their compensation cannot reflect their value. That's just not sustainable. And when teachers leave or feel less than worthy, students feel the impact. We're told the money isn't there, yet other qualified financial professionals have reviewed the same information and believe that it is. How is that possible? If credible experts can reach different conclusions, deeper scrutiny is necessary. It's concerning that our district has reached an impasse and spent additional resources on third-party review only to have that review indicate Funds may in fact be available. That should give us pause because this isn't just about numbers. It reflects how we prioritize the people who educate our children. It's about how we operate in integrity as a district, in transparency, communication, and how we represent the situation to our community. Recent public messaging, including last week's mention in the SoCal Scoop, did not feel aligned with that integrity. When communication is incomplete or one-sided, it erodes trust, and trust is foundational in a school community. Let's treat our teachers not only how they deserve to be treated, but how they treat our children, with integrity and respect, not just this year, but for years to come. We cannot continue to function like this and expect stability and excellence. The question isn't whether we can afford our teachers, it's whether we can afford not to.
Kelly Peterson. Kelly Peterson.
Good evening, board. This is my first time speaking. So I come to you as a daughter of public school teachers. I was educated in public school. All my kids are, I currently have a fourth grader at Santa Cruz Gardens, and I have spent my career in public education as well and have a background in child development. One of the things that I keep seeing is that our teachers, who are literally the backbone of our society, that are bringing up our children, who are teaching them not only the subjects, but how to be kind, how to solve problems, how to make this world a better and safer place for all of us. It really breaks my heart that we keep having this conversation, where we keep having to fight for our educators, our professionals, those that are inspiring and helping our children develop, to just even have a basic decent wage and quality healthcare so they can be healthy, so they can get what they need and be supported with what they need to do all this work. I also volunteer in the classrooms. I see this one teacher with like 26 students, all different kinds of diagnoses, all kinds of different things that these children are bringing into the classroom too, that not only are the teachers needing to teach them so they can pass these tests, but they're also having to console children, feed children, provide resources for children, all these things that they pour out daily in their love and care, and we should be rewarding them. I've also worked in administration too, so I understand that there are budgets, there are things that we don't have control over necessarily, but to prioritize this incredibly important job. This is like our front lines for our next generations. And I know personally, teachers have made such a difference in my life, have saved my life in many respects. And they deserve to be paid well, to be taken care of, just like they take care of all of our children in our community. Thank you.
I can't read the last name. Jenny F.
All right. Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. So my name is Jennifer Freeberg, and I'm the mother of 3 children. My oldest is in 3rd grade at Main Street Elementary. And as you can see, my youngest will be 4 months in just a couple days. My family will be part of the school district for many years to come. And the foundation of my children's education depends on the quality and stability of its teachers. So far, I've been incredibly impressed. I've watched my daughters learn to read, develop strong math skills, and just as importantly, understand the value of respect and kindness. I am deeply grateful to Miss Frost, Miss Macy, Miss Galvan, Miss Salerno, Mr. P, and Miss Mary, and I know they're going to have a ton of great teachers in the future. The impact you have had on my children and our family is lasting, and I'm deeply concerning to hear that the teachers in our district are struggling to meet their basic needs. Our educators dedicate themselves to our children every day, and they deserve financial stability and professional respect in return. I understand that your job requires making difficult decisions and balancing many priorities. I have a job too. It's hard. It's hard to do that kind of stuff. However, investing in the teachers is an investment in our students and in the long-term strength of this community. I strongly urge you to find a way to provide them with the raise that they deserve. I'm doing my best to mitigate the enrollment crisis. I need your help to establish a compensation package that can retain and attract the teachers our community deserves. I thank you guys for your time and consideration.
Our last speaker is Beth Willen.
Hello, thank you. I've been asked to speak on behalf of SEA. I'm reading a letter that was shared with us earlier this week. Dear SEA, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the mediation process phase of impasse, it involves a professional mediator from the state who comes in as a neutral party to try and bring both sides of the negotiating table to an agreement. Parties to the mediation are in separate rooms, and the mediator acts as a go-between. As we previously stated at our mediation session on February 12th, SEA and the district were not able to reach an agreement, which means we move into the next phase called fact-finding. A key aspect of the mediation process is its strict confidentiality. At the start of our session on February 12th, as is standard practice, the mediator started off with both sides of the table in the same room to explain his role and what the process would look like. As part of the parameters of the process, he was very clear that everything discussed during mediation is strictly confidential. To highlight this, he pointed out that he himself could not legally be subpoenaed. The SEA negotiations team and the district team both explicitly agreed to follow the rules of confidentiality. As educators, we understand and know how to follow rules of confidentiality. We are required to maintain student confidentiality on a daily basis. We also understand the importance of following directions. We're not sure the district understands these concepts as clearly. On the evening of Friday, February 13th, Superintendent Scott Turnbull sent out a public communication, SoCal Scoop number 24, which was widely disseminated in our community. In it, he violates the confidentiality that he agreed to at mediation. While we ourselves cannot violate the terms of confidentiality, we can say the superintendent's update is false, inaccurate, and misleading. The alleged proposal described by the district would do nothing to restore the confidence or mitigate the feeling of disrespect our members feel. He simultaneously described SEA's proposal wholly inaccurately, though it is the same proposal that has been on the table for months. At this point, we have major concerns regarding the leadership of our school district. If the superintendent violated confidentiality intentionally, it undermines the public's perception of our district's integrity. In SoCal Scoop number 23, the superintendent shared information about mediation that stated, quote, "The parties must participate in the mediation process in good faith or risk being charged with an unfair practice by the other side." By violating the confidentiality of mediation, the superintendent engaged in bad faith bargaining and has committed an unfair practice. It makes, oh, sorry. Thank you very much.
We have one comment via email.
This says, Dear SoCal Union board members, I'm writing as a property owner, taxpayer for SoCal Union. As a retired Santa Cruz County Office of Ed teacher and a parent of a child who got an excellent education at Main Street and New Brighton, I completely support the 3% COLA and benefits the certificated union is asking for. Having educated, intelligent, and inspiring teachers are the most important part of what makes a successful school district. I implore you to take this step in helping to keep great teachers and also to attract teachers, especially teachers who are just beginning their careers. Their salaries have to be a livable salary or you won't get quality candidates or they'll commute to Santa Clara County. Thank you for supporting our teachers. Sincerely, Lauren Leff.
The board will now convene to close session at 6:10. We are going to a different room. No. Pledge of Allegiance. I think Christina, you're going to, where are you, Christina? Oh, there's, yeah. Hi.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. It is my honor to introduce one of our 8th grade students, Maddie Hamner, to lead us all today with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Place your right hand on your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Staff, students, parents, and the community help ensure that each child develops the skills and characters necessary for lifelong achievements and responsible citizenships in a diverse world.
Good. Okay. Hi, Maddie. Thank you for being here. I'm going to read, if it's okay with you, Maddie, I'm going to read the certificate that we have to thank you for being here tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The SoCal Union Elementary School District Board of Trustees Certificate of Recognition for our Student Pledge of Allegiance leader and mission statement reader, Maddie Hamner, 8th grade student from New Brighton Middle School. I'm going to read that whole paragraph because there's a lot of great stuff to say about you. Okay. All right. Tonight, we're proud to have our student pledge led by Maddie Hamner, one of our outstanding 8th graders at New Brighton Middle School. Maddie will be heading to SoCal next year, SoCal High next year, and is especially excited to spend time with her friends and make new ones as she begins high school. During her time at NBMS, her favorite classes have been our electives, with ceramics holding a special place in her heart. She truly loves the creativity and hands-on experience that ceramics provides. Outside of school, Maddie has a full and lively household. She has 3 Jack Russell dogs named Max. All 3? Yeah. Oh, no, I gotta keep reading. I have to keep reading. Max, who was born on leap year, Harley, who is known for being very chill, and Chewy, the newest and most playful member of the family. She also has a leopard gecko named Amethyst, and her brother has a fish and 2 frogs. In her free time, Maddie enjoys spending time with her best friend, Marissa. When they're at the beach, at the movies, or simply hanging out, they love making memories together. One of the things that truly stands out about Maddie is her heart for service. She volunteers weekly at the Teen Kitchen Project, where she helps package food for individuals who are ill. She genuinely enjoys helping others and giving back to her community. We are so proud of Maddie and the leadership she represents tonight. Thank you, Maddie, for leading us in the pledge. Okay with you, we'd like you to come forward. We'll give you the certificate. You can pick something if you'd like from our basket here for yourself and your siblings. And the other members of the board might have some friendly questions. Is that okay? Okay. Oh, you just press and hold down when we're talking, right?
Okay, I'm good. What is a leopard gecko? I have never heard of a leopard gecko.
Well, you got it. In my
Oh, okay. They do. Do they look like a leopard? What do they eat?
They eat like cockroaches.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, if you have cockroaches in the house, you just let the gecko go, right? Well, thank you for coming. You're the highlighted night.
Do you want to
Oh, here, Here is a certificate to Two Birds Bookstore.
Stop, okay.
Is it off?
You want to try?
This is working. Okay.
Okay.
You don't need to touch anything.
Oh, okay, I touched the wrong one. Hey, so anyways, here's a certificate to buy a book at Two Birds Bookstore on 41st Avenue. You like to read, I bet. Okay, what do you like to read? Oh, okay. Right, it's awesome.
Thank you so much for being our pledge leader. It's just wonderful to have you come. I was wondering about, what was one of your favorite times at New Brighton?
Well, I like friends and being around, like coming around the campus and meeting like teachers. And like today, we actually took photos for the yearbook with my friends.
Wow.
Everyone walking people from photos, jazz, playing like this weird game like photo where they will pull random stuff out of their backpack.
Hey, that sounds fun.
Like or like a random like pencil.
Oh.
Like the items.
Oh, that sounds great. And what's something you're looking forward to in high school?
Well, I definitely look forward to meeting with new friends and like seeing how I do in the future.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm curious about your three dogs. Do you give them all equal attention? Are they all over you all the time? Do you have to take them out? Is that one of your duties, one of your chores at home?
I don't use take them up that much, but they like to like run around the house and be very crazy. They love the fun and attention. And whenever like someone comes over the house, they'll start like jumping on crazy all
That's awesome. Do you do ceramics at home? I know that's one of your interests at school. Do you? Okay,
They usually draw.
oh, that's cool. You seem very creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Here.
Yeah.
All right, can you hear me? I'm really interested in the service work that you do. How did you get into doing community service, and what would you tell other students who might be interested but maybe are a little unsure what it means to do?
I've been learning to and they told me they were like helping me find a place that I could work at and stuff. And they told me that was like I could work on a sport too, so. And it's not like fun to really help community and help to cook with my mom.
That's wonderful. It's great to see and hear about students who are helping community. It's been wonderful to meet you. Did you get a toy? Some of these might be a little. Look, a little notebook. Cool pen. You also could take for your siblings.
Or you can pass.
Or you could pass and you. Okay, and then this is for you, and then I think we want to get a photo. Okay.
I'll go make a photo, Maddie. They're gonna get a photo. So they're going to
Please.
Yeah, in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, agenda is adopted. Report out of closed session. There is nothing to report out of closed session. We will be reconvening after open session. Consent agenda. Yes. Oh, do we need to report out? Yes, okay, my apologies. There is something to report out. The board did approve the comprehensive school safety plan. All 5 members voted aye. Thank you, Amanda. I'm gonna support you.
Yeah, part 2.
2. Okay, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let's move along to our recognition. We have a wonderful recognition event for the Santa Cruz County Spelling Bee participants from SoCal Union Elementary. Who is presenting?
We can just read out the names and have them come on up. Yeah, those are
Oh,
that.
here we go. Okay. Matt, so when I read your name, why don't you come on up? Matthew Sherman,
Yeah.
J.D. Pendleton, and then Tao Murray.
Yeah, you want to ask them a few questions about the event?
Have them come on over.
Sure, why don't you come on over?
We're in this big building, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mind coming a little closer? Is that okay? Yeah, we'll be friendly.
Come right on up here. There you go.
To the stand? To the stand, Amanda?
Wherever. Yeah, just so we can see you.
Okay.
So how did you all get involved in spelling bees? Was this the first year that you did them? Was this a multiple year? Tell us a little bit about your spelling bee history.
Well, I guess I'm just a good speller because I just spell good. I don't know how I got in it. I just spell good.
Okay.
That's a natural talent. Good for you.
Miss Brenda. This is my first year spelling. I guess I don't really know how I got into spelling. I just spell good, like you said.
This is my first year and like he said, I just spell good.
Does anyone remember a word that you got that you're really proud of being able to spell because it was a hard word? Or if you can't think of that, just a really tough word that came up that you heard and you were like, wow, that's a hard word to spell.
A really good word was disciplinary.
Oh, okay.
A really good word was judicial.
Oh,
wow.
A really hard word that I kind of despised was handkerchief because it just adds that extra D.
I remember there was this one word, supercilious.
Wow.
I had no idea. I just guessed.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There was this one word that I absolutely was crazy to me, and it was like for the challenge of the best spellers, and it was like Australiamosis or something. I forgot what it was. Like, how do you even spell them?
I think it was ostracism.
Yes, that. I was like, how do people even spell this?
Another really hard word was carburetor. Like, I had no idea.
In response to his question, OSTRACISL. First, during the spelling bee, I thought the last word was gonna be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Spell it.
I personally prefer zygomorphic.
So what I'm curious about, when they ask you to spell these words, does it just come into your mind automatically, or do you think about the phonetics and the sounding and, you know, all the different rules of the English language?
I don't know. It's kind of both.
Okay, I admire you.
Like for the words that I like, for the easier words, it just like pops into my head. But for the harder words, sometimes like I do like sound it out.
My brain basically just quickly Google searches, have I read this? And then if I haven't, it's just take your best guess.
Chat GPT in your brain.
Yeah, really.
That kind of leads into my question. Do you each consider yourself an English person and you read a lot?
Yeah, I guess I consider myself an English person, and I read. Yay!
All right, all right.
I also read like
Yeah.
a lot. A
Yeah.
lot.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Same.
What do you like to read? What books are you reading?
The Skeleton Crew by Stephen King, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
I'm rereading Harry Potter and I'm on book 7.
Okay.
I'm reading every single book in the Percy Jackson novel trilogy, starting with Percy Jackson and ending with Trials of Apollo. I got through one book in a day.
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing. You stumped us.
I am amazed.
Just like that she's.
I'm on book
she's reading
4.
Harry Potter.
I know, yeah. How many times have you read Harry Potter?
I think this is my 3rd.
Yeah, okay. Take that, Robert.
Yeah. That's great, you guys.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you three are amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up here.
Any other questions for our stellar students? If not, you can come get your certificate, and you may also pick from our little goodie prize.
Come on
If
down.
you would like, come on.
Okay.
This way.
Yes, there you go.
Here's yours. Here's yours, Carol.
Can I get one for my little brother?
Yes. And then we want to take a picture. So stay
Yep.
there and we'll come around.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks. I want to go home.
Hey. Now we are moving on to public hearing items. So we have a public hearing regarding the 2025-26 Comprehensive School Safety Plan, Part 1.
So every year, California public school districts have to publish their comprehensive school safety plan. In districts with under 2,500 students like us, The safety plan part 1 can be published for the entire district to optimize resources. And so that's the approach that we have taken. And later in the agenda, we'll be going through what's in that comprehensive school safety plan. This is an opportunity for public comment if you would like any.
Don't think we have any public comment on this item, so we'll move on to other public communications. Okay. Closing the public hearing.
And yeah, closing the public hearing 7:09. All right.
Thank you. Okay, so we do have, I believe it's 10 folks to speak. We have a limit of 20 minutes per topic. These are all on the same topic. So we will have a minute and a half per person. And as I call you up, please come and have a seat. Sean Rudolph. Oh, so that math is wrong. Yeah, 2 minutes. Right? 2. Oh, no, I want it because there's. Okay.
Can I start? Should I go? No, okay.
Is that,
Okay, sorry.
it's just a choice instead of the 3 minutes per and have less people? Okay.
The way everybody gets the phone.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Turnbull. My name is Sean Rudolph, and I'm a parent in the district. I actually also attended Soquel Elementary and New Brighton Middle School myself. I've been a teacher for 17 years, and I'm here today because the math simply isn't adding up for our educators. We're currently discussing a 3% raise. While any increase in compensation is technically a start, we have to call it what it is. When you consider the skyrocketing costs of living in our area, a 3% raise is effectively a pay cut. Our teachers are being asked to do more with less, while their actual purchasing power diminishes every single month. If we don't provide a compelling reason for teachers to stay, they will leave. I often wish I could afford to teach in my community. I couldn't. So I left and I've worked over the hill for 11 years. In those 11 years, I've received over 40% in raises, and I never even had to hold up a catchy sign in front of my school. You have some amazing teachers on your staff, and they're here tonight. They've touched the lives of my children, and I'm deeply thankful for them. And you stand to lose them if you, and we stand to lose those teachers if we can't afford to teach in our local schools. It's a district administrator's job to solve this problem. It's not the teacher's job. Think of the superintendent as the chief visionary of the district. When a raise is needed or a parcel tax is on the ballot, it's their job to move beyond the spreadsheets and actually sell a vision to the community. They're the ones with the platform to build trust, bridge the gap with skeptical taxpayers, and prove that the money will be well invested in the people behind me.
Thank you. That's time.
Oh.
Megan Carpenter.
Sorry. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
Hi, my name is Megan Carpenter. I'm in 5th grade and I'm representing Main Street Elementary. And our teachers work very hard to have our students education work very hard, or like education, like grow every day and every week. And they work super hard, and then the money that they get does not deserve what they actually do. And thank you.
Great job. I would defer to that. Yeah. So, we had, the board president had expressed in a desire to let everybody speak and not go over 20 minutes total on one subject, to limit it to a minute and a half. But if there is a desire to have the full 3 minutes, then just know that we won't be able to get through all the speakers. So if somebody wants to go the full 3 minutes, they can.
Georgia Johnson.
Hello, my name is Georgia Johnson. I'm a student at Main Street Elementary School. I'm 11 years old and my mom is the resource specialist there. I was brought up in a community where I was taught that if you supported others, you would be supported. That is why I'm very disappointed to be here. The teachers are the roots of our community. What would happen if we cut them off? They are the builders of our world. Your wages depend on the teacher's responsibility and accountability, which is my highest advice to give them a raise. If you want to make a living, you should give the teachers living wages. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I have region.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Sorry.
Matt Bruner.
Okay. Gotcha.
Good evening. I'd like to start by just making a note that if the board chooses to do so, they can extend public comment beyond the 20 minutes if they vote to do so. My name is Matt Bruner. I'm speaking as the co-president of the Greater Santa Cruz Federation of Teachers. As we know, public budgets are described usually as complicated spreadsheets full of like line items and projections. But at their core, budgets are much simpler. They are a list of priorities. I'm here tonight to urge you to make your budget clear in its priority, the educators that serve this community every day. I bring with me not only my own voice, but also the voices of nearly 400 union members in Santa Cruz City Schools. We stand in solidarity with our union siblings in the SoCal Education Association, as they advocate for fair wages and working conditions and better health insurance. When certificated employees are offered a 0% compensation increase for a second consecutive year, that decision sends a message. It tells educators where they fall on the list of priorities. I also speak as a social studies teacher at SoCal High School and as a SoCal resident. I teach many students who once sat in the classrooms of your school district. I share grocery stores and parks and this community with the families and students who go to school in your schools. The educators in this district are not sort of abstract items to me. They are my colleagues in the broadest and most important sense. And teachers, as we've heard from many of the speakers, both before closed and open session, are pillars of the community. They work, their work shapes not only academic outcomes, but the civic and social fabric of our towns. When we invest in teachers, we invest not only in stability, but also the vitality of our entire community. And look, I understand the weight of the responsibility that all of you have. I analyze budgets, I sit in board meetings, I sit at bargaining tables. And I know that the pressures that you face are real. The rising costs of living, declining enrollment, one-time funds from the state of California, and unfunded mandates. These are all things that you are contending with, same as we are. But ensuring the long-term health and safety, it is important work, but difficult circumstances don't erase priorities. They help to clarify them as far as I'm concerned. If a budget is a list of priorities, then the question before you is simple. Where do educators fall on that list? And I'm here because GSCFT wants what is best for our colleagues, best for educators who are our neighbors, and because it is what's best for students. Thank you very much.
Michelle Shearer.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of you tonight for the legacy I want to talk about of teachers in SoCal Union School District. I had the privilege that I began here in my career in 1997. I was an educator for 12 years, and I also have experienced the legacy because my children came here. Allie is 23, Kian is 20, and Cadell is 16. So I always joke that my children are instructional strategy snobs after they left SoCal Union School District. And my children are like, where's the perky pace? Like how are you engaging the students? They didn't understand that educators everywhere weren't like they are here in SoCal. So when I think of the district's legacy, I think of district people like Tom Dunks, Linda Pearson, Pam Aguilar, Penny Cheslet, Tom DeCano, Bobby Summerall, Janice Otis. And that legacy continues today. Educators like Donna Renee Martin, Alana Lowe, Allie Lovell, Jolie Geis, Ann Wilson, Heather Springy, and Lisa Gamino. Just some of these names who have impacted not only my children's lives, but many other lives. The tradition of extraordinary teaching does not happen by chance. It happens when we choose to support, retain, and invest in highly qualified educators. So tonight, I urge you to make it a priority to protect the legacy of this community, which is one of its greatest treasures. So I continue to support in retaining these teachers to ensure the future children in Capitol and SoCal will have the same opportunities as my children did, and also the foundation of my teaching. Thank you.
Jenny Jager.
Hi. I encourage one of you to make a motion to extend the 20-minute rule. Did I say that right? Okay. Hello and good evening. My name is Jenny Yeager, and my family lives in SoCal Elementary School District. And we have 2 children that attend Main Street Elementary. I'm here tonight to speak in support of our teachers who are truly amazing and work incredibly hard to provide our children not only with a high-quality education, but also with a sense of safety and community. I'm deeply concerned with the very real possibility of losing these dedicated educators to neighboring districts because the cost of living here continues to rise faster than their salaries. When teachers cannot afford to live in the communities they serve, it creates instability, not just for them, but for our students, our schools, and ultimately this entire district. Turnover is disruptive, it breaks continuity, weakens relationships, and directly affects student outcomes. Living paycheck to paycheck while trying to meet basic needs is an overwhelming reality for many families, and it is one that some of our teachers are currently facing. That reality should stop us all in our tracks. If we accept this as just how it is, we risk becoming a district where passionate, experienced teachers simply cannot stay. So tonight, my ask is direct. Please make teacher compensation an immediate and visible priority. Treat teacher retention with the same urgency as any other critical infrastructure issue, because without teachers, nothing else works. Our teachers deserve more than praise, they deserve action. Our students deserve a district that proves through its decisions that our educators truly matter. Thank you.
Casey Ryberg.
Good evening. I'm speaking tonight as a parent who will be part of this district for the next 10 years, an individual that was a student in this district for 9 years, and a spouse to a teacher in this district for the past 10 years with the hopes of retiring in this district if we can financially afford it. Many of us are making long-term decisions about where to raise our children based on the direction of this district. And right now, we need more clarity and transparency about where we are headed. If we can't offer a raise for our teachers this year, how are we going to next year and the year after that with decreasing enrollment? All year, the board discussed cost-saving measures, district consolidation, or closing a school, given the grim financial outlook over the next 3 years with decreasing enrollment. At what threshold will those decisions need to be made? When enrollment is below a certain value, when there is not enough money to give our teachers a raise yet again, How many combination classes signal that a site is no longer sustainable? As a district, I think these thresholds need to be known so there is transparency in planning and we as a parent community are not caught off guard. All year, we have also heard that we're close to becoming basic aid. What does close mean? And then when we get close, what changes? In reviewing the 25-26 preliminary budget, it appears we are 97% of the way there, from property taxes outstripping LCFF funding. Given current property tax growth, that could happen in 2 or 3 years. If the district is anticipating basic aid status, there needs to be transparency about what that actually means for district transfer policies, teacher compensation, staffing levels, and school closures tied to enrollment decline. If we stop accepting interdistrict transfers once we become basic aid to optimize funding for resident students, then it's fair to ask, does that mean teachers can expect raises then? Will there be teacher layoffs? How will additional local funding be allocated? Again, at what enrollment threshold does a school close? These decisions should not surprise families or staff. There should be clearly articulated thresholds such as enrollment numbers, fiscal triggers, and staffing ratios so that our community understands the roadmap. As parents, we are invested for the long term. We deserve to know the plan before we arrive at these turning points and not after. We are asking for a clear, forward-looking roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years, not just what happens if things get worse, but what happens if things improve. Thank you.
Kelly Liebenthal.
I strongly encourage one of the board members to make a motion to extend this so that you can hear our community voices. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Liebenthal, and I'm a TK teacher at Santa Cruz Gardens Elementary. I want to begin by saying something that is absolutely true. I love my job. This is not just employment for me. It's my dream position in a community I've been serving for over 20 years. But loving my job does not mean that I can ignore the reality of what's happening to the people who do this important work every day. I provide healthcare coverage for our family as my husband is self-employed. Since 2017, my healthcare costs have increased 421% for the same plan. 421%. However, there has been no increase to the healthcare cap since 2015, and the employer contribution has actually decreased by $265 at its peak. That results in a $1,442 increase out of my pocket on a salary that has no annual increase. We are not asking for anything unreasonable. We ask for a $200 increase to the teacher healthcare cap. We are simply asking for equality because no educator should have to choose between caring for their family and continuing to serve yours. Right now, my daughter needs a medically necessary surgery. I've done the math. I received my explanation of benefits. It is more cost-effective for us to pay out of pocket for her surgery than to use the health insurance provided by our own district. Think about that. I am a full-time educator serving this community, and the coverage I receive through my employer is so costly that it makes more financial sense to bypass it entirely. Last year, teachers took no raise, even with the cost of living increasing significant. Santa Cruz is the most expensive place to live in the nation, yet our teachers' salaries are well below the California state average. We asked for a 3% raise. Again, not unreasonable. It would take at least a 6% raise to bring our teacher salary up to the California state average. We showed good faith. We demonstrated patience. We put students first again. You say teachers deserve more, then I respectfully ask you to act on it. Figure it out. Because we can't wait. We can't continue absorbing the escalating healthcare costs without relief. We can't continue being told we are valued while our compensation tells a different story. And we cannot and will not continue to sacrifice indefinitely. I love my job. I want to stay here. I want to continue serving the community I believe in, but belief must be matched by action. If we deserve more, then please Figure it out because we can't wait. Thank you. Peter Schwartz. Peter Schwartz.
Hello, my name is Peter. I'm a parent of 2 students at Santa Cruz Gardens Elementary, also the treasurer of the Home and School Club. Thank you for your time. That's Kelly's gonna be a hard act to follow. But I just wanted to quote a few studies. 55% of teachers consider leaving the profession early. 91% of teachers in California, of new teachers in California, consider leaving early because of wages. Wages, if you adjust for inflation, wages have been stagnant in the state since 2003. The teachers here are only asking for a 3% raise, which is below the expected inflation, which is to be 3.1 to 3.2% this year. I don't think what they're asking for is unreasonable. And also, if our number one goal in our mission statement is to help the students, studies show that increasing teacher pay will improve student performance from 5 to 10% and will also decrease the number of dropouts by 3 to 4%. And I know in this district, we need every student we can get. Also, I am a son of a mother who's a teacher who had to leave the state because she couldn't afford to live here. So I understand their struggle. All I ask is you pay them a fair wage. Also, I know we're all here for the teachers, but I would also like to speak briefly on the event that happened yesterday at Santa Cruz Gardens Elementary. The teachers were left out there without power, without any cell service, any Wi-Fi. We had limited communication from the district. And I know you guys are going through your comprehensive safety plan. And I think it would be good to consider some backup power up there because the kids were without heat. I saw little kids in Miss Kelly's class shivering, no lights. And yeah, we need more support for our teachers and our school. Thank you.
Kelly Freitas.
Good evening. I chose to speak because a parent had to go home with her kids, so I told her I would take over for her. But I also realized that I'm a parent of 2 kids who went through this district, and they need me at home right now, and I can't be there. And they're older, but they still need me. And sorry. I had to tell them this is more important at the moment that I be here. That I'll be home later. So let me read what the parent wrote. Sorry. This is from Grace, a parent I had last year. My son started kindergarten this year and he knew 3 letters by October. He was reading. His teacher is fantastic. His TK teacher was the best ever. They care deeply, show so much attention to detail, and truly want the best for the kids. His teacher brings home $4,200 a month. Their rent is $3,500 a month. That leaves $700. That it's not okay. We have to do better. If the top 3 paid administrators need to take a pay cut, our teachers should not be on food stamps. Our teachers should be able to sign their kids up for T-ball, gymnastics without worrying if they can pay their electric bill. They deserve it and their kids deserve it. Our kids deserve qualified teachers. I just ask, please, that a board member will make an offer to extend the time. I think we really need to hear from the community, and the board really needs to hear from the community of what they're saying. This is extremely hard. Thank you.
Yeah. That was the last of our public comment. Did we have anything on email?
Nothing on email.
So I have a question. Did we have any comment cards that were not reached? Did every comment card get filled-
All of the
taken care
comment cards that I got
Okay.
have spoken. Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to take my second minute and a half.
Okay.
Great, thanks. So, yeah, I think it was there. So when a parcel tax fails repeatedly, it's usually not because the community hates schools. It's often because the leadership lack the creativity to tell a compelling story or the ingenuity to build a broad enough coalition with teachers and support staff. If a leader can't convince the public to invest in the very system they are running, it points to a serious breakdown in strategy and a failure to adapt to what the community actually needs to hear. In other words, district admin should get creative or find a new role. A 1% raise proposal is insulting to teachers and to our community. And the fact that I read about it in a weekly bulletin is alarming and demonstrates poor faith bargaining. Our teachers are the infrastructure of this community. And when they can't afford to live in the neighborhoods where they teach, our students suffer from turnover, burnout, and a loss of institutional knowledge. It's time to stop asking for teachers to subsidize the budget's district woes with their own livelihoods. Thank you.
Okay, we're now going to move to standing reports. Any updates from you?
Yeah, my only standing report for the sake of time is just gratitude for everybody who showed up virtually at last week's virtual community voice gathering. We had a good number of participants from staff and community with a lot of great questions. So just thank you for that. And that's all for me.
Yes, we are about to do the next administration of the universal screener. I look forward to that information. Teachers, our counselors, our entire site staff use that information to serve students. So we're looking forward to getting the results from that. Oh, yeah, sorry. I said that we are about to open the next window of the universal screener. And that data helps our teachers, our counselors, our wellness coaches, our site staff understand the behavioral and social emotional needs of our students. So we look forward to getting that information and adjusting supports accordingly.
And then I'll just be really brief too. So mine has to do with the bond projects. We're able to get the New Brighton fencing project to be a standalone project. So that way we can get the fencing project up and going to complete the fencing around New Brighton for security.
Okay, is there an update from CSEA? Hi.
Okay. Excuse me if I sound tired because I get up at 4:15 every day to come to work. So this is past my bedtime. Good evening, trustees and superintendents. My name is Nancy Hickox and I'm the head cook at New Brighton Middle School. We receive food deliveries, prepare meals, and distribute them to the other 3 elementary schools. I have been with the district for almost 4 years, and I am very proud to work here. I commute every day from Watsonville, and my shift begins at 5:30 in the morning because I care deeply about our students, and I take pride in making sure that they are ready to learn and fed. I also want to share that our child nutrition services staff has been short-staffed all year. And because of that, myself and my coworkers are working double harder every day just to keep up with the workload. We continue to show up and make it work for our students, but the strain is real. At the same time, our salaries are very tight, especially at the end of each month. With the recent increase in insurance costs, I honestly feel that I am taking a pay cut while doing more work. The cost of living continues to rise, and many of us are struggling to make ends meet. I have looked at other job opportunities, but my heart is here. I love serving our youth and being part of this district. I truly cannot see myself working anywhere else. I just want to be able to continue doing this work while without constantly worrying about whether I can afford my basic expenses. Thank you for your time and for listening. On behalf of the union president, Enrique Domo Jr., I would like to provide an update on the CSEA negotiations. per Enrique. Hey, what's up, y'all? The classified unit will be meeting tomorrow to ratify the open articles. Once approved, the negotiations team will send proposed dates so bargaining with the district can begin. President Domo wants to emphasize that the team is committed to negotiating in good faith and working toward an agreement that supports and values our classified staff. We appreciate everyone's continued engagement and dedication throughout this process. Thank you for your time. And I'm sorry, but I have to leave because it's past my bedtime. I need to go home.
We understand.
Thank you.
SBA?
No, see.
Can you hear me? All right, I am taking over the letter of impasse that wasn't completed in the before closed session. Now, if the superintendent violated confidentiality unintentionally, it undermines any faith the public and SEA membership might have in their ability to present the budget accurately. In either instance, the violation of confidentiality constitutes an unfair practice in legal terms. If they can't interpret the simple rules of mediation correctly, how can they interpret the complex numbers in the budget correctly? Meeting our modest demands should not be this difficult. We're tired of seeing our school district leaders spend so much time, energy, and effort focused on things other than our educators. We're tired of being last, not only in teacher compensation, but being last in this district's priorities. We're tired of the empty praise. We're tired of the district's countless fumbles. What we need from our school district leaders right now is for them to roll up their sleeves, get laser focused on its educators, and once and for all, figure it out. If they agree that our pay and benefits are unacceptably low, do something about it and accept our proposal. All right, that's the end of our letter. And now I have, as SEA, we are proud to present this petition that has over 1,000 signatures. We have over 1,000 signatures from local community members. These people support SEA and safe, stable schools and retaining qualified educators. Now, a few people would like to read the comments that were left on this petition.
I'm going to set it down because it's really large. Hi, I am Tamara Rydell. I actually work at Santa Cruz Gardens. I teach 2nd and 3rd grade. One of the comments here says teachers in SUESD deserve a raise because they are underpaid relative to neighborhood districts, face rising healthcare costs, and are leaving due to affordability pressures. The district has the financial ability to prioritize educators. It is far past time to invest in the people who make our CAP SoCal schools work. It's time to stop relying on bond measures to retain our teachers and pay them a competitive wage. Let's put some financial action behind saying we appreciate our educators. A community will rise or fall based on the quality of education, and that is determined by the quality of educators. We need to invest in our future and pay teachers what they deserve. I can't believe we are actually here again, having to fight for fair compensation for these incredibly valuable and essential members of our community. Woo.
Please excuse my shaky voice. I'm very uncomfortable up here. My heart's pounding. My name is Tina Bonner. I'm the reading and ELD specialist at Santa Cruz Gardens. 51, pay them what they are worth. Wages have been too low for too long. Number 52, the teachers are the most important thing that we need to be funding. Without good quality teachers, the schools are going to suffer, and those that can will switch to private education. Number 54, salary matters. Do what's right and show teachers they are valued. 61, My wife and I are teachers that live in Santa Cruz County, but leave the county for work, and this is exactly the reason. We encourage our friends to leave for other districts so that they can actually afford to live here. Teachers are not martyrs, pay them.
I'm Karen Yee, and I'm also a teacher at Santa Cruz Gardens. I'm going to read one of the comments on here from the community. Says, shame on you for continuing to cut teacher pay. There'll be nobody to support our children if you stay this course. I've been a Santa Cruz County resident for 14 years. My own children attended and graduated from Santa Cruz County schools. My husband and I are both teachers and both commute to Los Gatos. I would love to teach locally again, but as the cost of living went up and pay continued to stagnate, I had to make the decision to go over the hill. Teachers are a vital part of a community and should be able to afford to work where they live and live where they work.
That's all we have.
That's not the agenda. Okay, all right. Erring on the side of caution.
Items from the trustees, Robert? Anything?
I have nothing to report.
I'll just say I attended the virtual community voice gathering and it looked like we had between 50 and 60 folks at one point, what I could see on the Zoom count, and people asked really good, thoughtful questions. People are asking great questions and having great comments, and I appreciate people being engaged and sending letters to the board and again, engaging in the process and reaching out. So thank you.
I just want to say that this is really hard. You guys are part of our community. I see you in our grocery store. You educate my children. This is really hard. And we all care about you. I know that you don't want to hear that, but I heard you. I'll speak for myself. I heard you. I appreciate all the voices. I really appreciate the thoughtful, creative ideas that I heard tonight. And thank you, because with many minds, we can achieve great things. The other thing that's really uncomfortable is that this is a formal position. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, I can't say everything on my heart because this is formal. But thank you for being here.
We didn't have any more public comment forms. Everyone who has indicated they wanted to speak has spoken, and we've moved on from public comment. I don't have anything to report. All right, we're moving on to presentations. We have Stacy Kyle, I believe. Are we gonna be Stacy Kyle?
Looks like I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically. I just want to say thank you and welcome, Stacy. And thanks for representing our area on the county school board. And we look forward to just hearing a little bit about what your role is and getting to meet you more than anything. So thank you both for being here.
Good evening, President Gray, Superintendent Turnbull, and members of the board and community. My name is Rachel Williams. I'm the current president of the Santa Cruz County Board of Education, and we're really thrilled to be here just to start a conversation. On behalf of the board, we thank you for the invitation, and I'm pleased to be here alongside my fellow trustee, Stacy Kyle, who is our newest board member. And we just want to share just a few things that maybe some of you might know and whoever might be left might know. A background, we're one of 58 county offices of education in California. And our role is to serve as intermediary for both the school districts, between the school districts and the state, providing oversight, support, district services to families and students, and under the administration of our elected county superintendent, Dr. Sabah. Our board is also made up of 7 trustees, 7 different areas, and we serve for 4 years. And we also have 2 appointed student trustees. This year, we had our first at-large student trustee, and we have many applications from our high school students who applied to become a student trustee from around the county. And then we also have a student trustee that just represents our alternative ed programs. And those are working really well. Our student trustees are very active in our community, very active in our meetings, and we're really thrilled to have them. As our mission, our mission is to create equitable educational system that fosters growth, opportunity, well-being for our students, safety and wellness. And one of the things we're really proud of is helping to administer a lot of our wellness programs in our high schools. Additionally, we just want to say that we're proud that we've been able to serve around 1,600 students in the last school year, just in our alternative education programs, our special education programs, our adult programs, and over 37,000 students through partnerships that we have with districts like yours. Just like any other district, we adopt policies, we approve budgets, but some of the things that we do aside from that some of the districts don't do, and that is to hear certain appeals and serve on matters that are related to our district organization and boundaries. So part of what we wanted to do is just to kind of open a conversation for just districts, but also for parents going forward to kind of help differentiate what districts do and what the County Board of Education does. And at this time, I want to introduce, if you have already, is Stacy Kyle, who is our newest trustee. So I'm going to pass it right on.
Thank you, Rachel. I also want to point out that President Williams, we have 2 presidents in the room, also represents part of Soquel district area. She has Main Street Elementary School in her trustee area. So this was a natural fit for her to join me tonight. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you. This is my first presentation to a school board in my trustee area, so I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to share a bit about myself and also my learning so far along the 5 months I've been in office. I was appointed in September. My area is trustee area 4, which is Live Oak, Capitola, Soquel. I have an extensive education background. I have a doctorate in education and have spent 20 years in the field, working my way down state level policy, district level policy in Live Oak School District for 7 years, and then now finding myself on a COE board. Having worked in the school district for so long, I'm very familiar with the workings of the school board and have really learned about the differences between the COE and a school board. For instance, we do not hire a superintendent. We do not evaluate a superintendent. He is elected and we work in partnership. We do not do negotiations. So that feels good to me tonight, sitting on this side of the table. But having worked for Live Oak School District over the last several years, I have empathy for your side of the table and the people in the chairs. My children went through Live Oak schools. They went through Live Oak Elementary, Shoreline. I have an 8th grader there now. And then my son is at Harbor, where my daughter will go next year. And and I started the Live Oak Education Foundation in 2013 and served as their president for 10 years. So I've met with several Soquel district parents over the years about
lessons learned on that process and in the hopes of getting an education foundation set up for this district. And I had a meeting last fall with some interested moms, and stand ready to share whatever insights I can on that journey as well. So in my 5 months, this is, and I've kind of alluded to some aspects of my learning, but first of all, I would say that my knowledge of who I represent has expanded. I don't really represent just trustee area 4 because the COE programs serve students from across the county in programs that are located across the county. So I've really broadened who I serve. I serve Santa Cruz County kids. That's who I serve. I am up for election in November for this particular trustee area. The term actually ends in 2028, but since I was appointed, I'm on the November ballot. But I consider myself representative of all the kids. I'm also learning a lot about the COE programs. Being at a district, I knew a lot about the professional development, the LCAP support. That's what I worked on, was the LCAP at Live Oak School District. So I knew a lot about the support given in those sort of avenues, but not so much about the student-facing programs. And I had the great pleasure last month to attend my first graduation, which was amazing and gave me an opportunity to really hear about the backgrounds of different students and why they choose the programs they do. At their graduation, the teacher speaks about every single student. And I had preconceived notions about who utilizes that pathway, and they were blown out of the water that day. I left feeling so proud of this county and that we really do have supports in place for any kid along whatever pathway they decide they want to take. It was very inspiring, and I'm still learning about all those programs. In our board packet for tomorrow night, there was a, I can't remember which report it was. It might've been the school safety report, but it listed numerous programs I hadn't even heard about yet. So one of my goals for over the remainder of my first year in office is to do tours of all the programs. I've started doing that, and it's great, of course, as you know, to get out and see the students where they are during the day and meet the staff in the course of the day. And so that's on my agenda moving forward. Let's see. I tend to speak fast and I want to save time for questions. So you can cut me off. That's okay. I think I'm just going to close my part by saying that I consider myself a lifelong learner. So this has been a really good fit for me. I work with really great people, President Williams, Dr. Sabah. We have as President Williams said, we have a 7-member board plus our 2 student trustees. And I have always loved integrating student voice. That was one of my real drives in Live Oak, was the student focus group, student surveys, really getting out and hearing directly from them. So having 2 student trustees has been wonderful, especially because I have a high schooler. So it's just really interesting to interact with them and hear what they bring to the table and their ideas. So with that, I just open it up if you have questions for me or comments or want to know more from either of us. And thank you.
Both for that
Thank
great
you.
summary. Yeah.
Do you want to, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you. She put me on the spot. No, okay.
Thank you both so much for being here. I think it's because trustee Kyle and I have met previously many moons ago, talking about potentially starting up an education foundation here in our school back before I was on the board. In other times when we were looking at funding options. So we connected back then, but I was so excited to see you appointed to the county board. So thank you for coming here. And when we reconnected recently, I guess it was in the fall, so however recently that was, I was also thinking about Rose Filicetti and her legacy and remembering our friend Rose, who sat in your seat and who has since passed, but Rose was the last trustee in your trustee area who had come and given us periodic updates, and it was so wonderful to connect in that way. So I thank you for accepting the invitation, and President Williams, thank you also for being here and informing us, because it can be confusing, sort of the difference between what the county board does and what the local school district boards do. So us all hearing it, the folks in the audience hearing it, I think it's really helpful. I'm curious. I mean, there's so many wonderful programs that the COE supports. Is there anyone in particular, any special education program or anything in particular that you've, either one of you kind of have learned about recently that's kind of just like a real point of pride or something that you think might be of interest to us?
I'm gonna defer to you because I'm still in my learning this one.
I love the lifelong learning too. Like, yes, I'm on year 12 here, like learning, always learning.
You know, the County Board of Education has lots of great programs. One of the things we've recently, I think it was last year, we renewed the charter for our CAC program, which is our adult learning program. And it is so impressive, the work that they do. And it's difficult enough when you have a family and a job, but then to add, hey, I want to go get my high school diploma, I want to level up. And it was so easy for us to renew that charter because the success was just immensely great for them. On our recent mid-year graduation, we had a married young couple. They had to have been in maybe their mid-20s, both graduating together with their child next to them. And it is like Trustee Kyle said, it's moving. You know, you don't, during those graduations, you don't stop smiling because you're just so proud. But it's just one of those amazing programs that that the COE offers. So of course it's, you know, the alternative ed for some of our younger students, some of them as young as middle school. But then you go all the way up to this adult ed programs that offer. So just the span, it's really hard to pick one. We're just so proud that we are able to offer something for any student in our county that doesn't fit, you know, the traditional education program. So, but it's really hard to pick one, but that one particularly kind of just stands out right now.
That's a great one to highlight because again, like oftentimes you think, oh, and school ends at this age, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know how many programs that you guys run?
I believe there are around 13 different schools that we run. There are, trying to think about like the number of programs. It's probably around 6. I mean, we range from doing like programs through the youth programs that we have. Like, I think that one with the YAC program. There are several like high school student programs that we support. They're the foster kid programs. They're the again, adult and the juvenile system student, the court appointed student systems. So they're quite a bit. Our annual report that's out available online for anyone, if you haven't seen it already, is an amazing handout for our programs, all the successes we've had, the graduation rates, etc. But yeah. And I just want to say that Trustee Kyle, as short a time as she's been on our board, has been an immense addition. She's been so great. She jumped right in. She asked a lot of questions. She definitely advocates for a student. If there's something in our policies that are just not all inclusive, she's going to fight for it. And so we're just really proud and I'm happy to have her. And I hope she's going to be returning for the next term.
You certainly sound like the right person to represent our district. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for coming and introducing yourself to us. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you on my part too. And congratulations for appointment. Good luck. No. There is a lot to learn and thanks for sharing the programs. Yeah, I mean, I knew there were some, but you know, the 13, you said
I believe there are 13
Oh, okay.
there are 13 schools. There are probably about a little less than a dozen different like individual programs.
Do you go to juvenile hall? Do you have?
We do have a juvenile hall program, yes, where we have school there. I've visited there once and it's a great program. I mean, they even some of the older high school students, they prep them for college. They're taking some, you know, college courses. The COE offers, and I'll advertise a little bit. It's a program for the community members. It's Inside Education. If you haven't heard of it already, it's open to all community members, and it really just takes you behind the scenes of what education is like in our county, and it will take you to a lot of those different programs, including the program that we have out in the juvenile juvenile hall system. So
And that's called
it's called Inside Education.
Inside Education.
Mhm.
Sounds interesting.
Applications are open now.
Applications are open now.
Thank
And
you.
alum, it was awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I am also a lifelong learner and I'm relatively new to this role. I think I'm just shy of 2 years being on the board. I was also appointed, uh, so yes, as someone who is relatively new to this, what would you say, how should, district boards and board members interact with you? Or, what should be kind of that dialogue? What should I be doing as a board member, board president of a district to stay informed or stay connected to what you are doing?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question that I don't have a full answer for, but I think probably from my perspective, and you can weigh in on this, it's very helpful for me to know what's going on because people in the community don't necessarily understand the lines of the different trustees and the responsibilities. And so if we're approached with questions or complaints or things like that, I would rather know what is the dynamic going on so I can refer them to the right person, listen appropriately and then redirect because it's not my place. So I think just sort of being aware. So if there's anything in particular, I would say, let me know, like heads up this. Otherwise, I'm just following in the news, right? Things that hit the news, I'm following along. And also, Live Oak and Capitola and SoCal are very close. So I have overlapping social circles. We are junior guards family. My daughter's been on this field a couple times already. So I'm in the community as well. I think going the opposite direction, Dr. Sabah has a weekly newsletter that's really informative, is very helpful in getting word out about our programs. I read it every week because I'm always surprised by, oh, we have this great event coming up. This is fantastic. I want to go to this, or just a little bit more in-depth information about programs that I maybe haven't yet experienced. So I think that's a good resource. As far as being of service to you, I have access to the CSBA resources just like you do. So it could be, partnering around a certain kind of study session on something. I just attended the handbook webinar today, the second in the series. And so I'm like, I really want to get my hands on this thing and dive into it a little bit more. Yeah, I would love to hear your ideas if there's something specific that you feel like would be a better connection between. I'm going to figure this out. And I would say I'm open to, however best I can be of support. And then also, have you support me too by keeping me in the loop. Would you add anything? You've been in the seat longer.
I would just reiterate what trustee Kyle said. I think it's important to keep that open communication. I like the idea of understanding what's happening. I think all the schools that fall under my geographical district, I'll usually join the newsletter of the schools in that area to try to keep an understanding of what's happening, what's going on, so that if we are approached, a lot of times parents and the community don't understand those lines. So sometimes it may be like, hey, that's not in our purview, but I can direct you to the right person. So really understanding that, and likewise the other way. We have monthly meetings just like you. They're not always as exciting, but we welcome, attendance, and there's a lot of information that is shared there. But yeah, I would just, reiterate what Trustee Cobb said.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Anything else from trustees? Well, it's wonderful to make this connection. We really appreciate you coming and getting to meet you and hearing from you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation and ability to bring along a friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for the collaboration. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment?
No.
Okay. Okay, we are now moving to our next presentation with Christina. Actually, it's
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hello. Thank you for having me tonight. Tonight is my annual presentation. And tonight my goal is to share where New Brighton Middle School is as a site and our focus for shaping all of our results. Oh, can't really read that. I think I need new glasses. Okay. Yeah, I can't actually see that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go over there. Oh, that's better.
We have to make this
All
big
right.
work.
Does that work? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I first want to start off with our successes this year and what and the celebration of all of our successes. And I'll start with our academic successes. We saw a 12% proficiency growth for our seventh grade English language arts and our CASP results, and a whopping 15% proficiency growth in our seventh grade math. Our sixth grade math had a 3% growth in proficiency, along with our eighth grade science with a 13% proficiency growth. So we had some huge academic growth that we saw this past year in our CAS, and that was reflected in our CASP. Another great success we've had is our inclusive practices. We've had a successful sixth grade rollout that I introduced to the board last year, and there was an expansion there in our seventh grade team, which increased student access to grade level instruction. Our attendance has improved. We went from 24-25 with a ADA of 94.8%. And right now we're sitting currently, fingers crossed it continues this way, but right now we're at about 96.1%. Our chronic absenteeism is continuing going down. We went from a 20% 2 years ago to a 15.8% last year. And we all know when students are present, they benefit from the instruction and the support that's in the classroom. We also want to talk about a success in our student experience. Our athletics program is just, off the charts here. Clearly, with our new field that we're just so appreciative of to all of you and our community for our field out there that's expanded the strong connection to our sports and building our sports program. And so school-wide events as well, and our recognition for our students just creates a positive student experience that I'd like to celebrate as a success. Our commitments this year as a staff, our fabulous teachers and staff, our commitments this year have been connection, character, and confidence. And so that's been our theme this year, connection, and what can we do as a staff to build connection? And so our focus has been building strong relationships with our students and families. And that hopefully the outcome of that is positive attendance, right? Because we get better engagement when students are feeling connected. Character, our teachers are very focused and being aligned with clear expectations and scope and sequence across the board so that students can know what to expect in classrooms and that builds character. We also have consistent campus systems. As far as confidence, one of the things that our teachers are doing a fabulous job in is building positive identity in whatever subject they're in. So if it's math, working on building a positive math identity, or science or English language arts. And this helps students grow in their confidence. And when they're feeling confidence, they're doing better. They're doing better in all areas where we see. And just the simple effect of building confidence has a huge impact on students. So our focus for 25-26, it's now February, but I'm just sharing what our focus was from the beginning of the year and where we're at today. So our focus, like I shared, was our attendance. Our goals are to get to a 96% attendance rate and to reduce our chronic absenteeism to 10%. And what are we doing to achieve this goal? Well, to build strong school-home connections. We want to keep students engaged. showing up. We have a motto at New Brighton, early and often, which means that we contact parents early and often. And we know that the sooner we can get parents involved and in any kind of concerns we have at school, we know that's going to have a positive impact on student success. For our academic focus, we are aligned with the district focus of increasing in math proficiency, which is a link to our confidence theme. We want to increase math proficiency across all grade levels. We want to move nearly met students to proficiency. And again, like I mentioned earlier, strengthen that math positive identity. Let's see, our collaboration and alignment. Our teachers work really hard. I don't need to tell you all how hard they work. They work hard collaboratively. They plan together. They work on their scope and sequence together. Our departments work to align with mission statements. They work on their grading practices because they understand that alignment across departments really helps students be successful. So one of the things that we've also done with collaboration alignment is, again, expanding that co-teaching model that I'll talk a little bit more. And then also just maintaining clear expectations across campus as well. We have the New Brighton way, being respectful, safe, kind, responsible. We practice that through PBIS and what it looks like in the classroom, what it looks like in the halls, what it looks like in the PAC here. We have universal classroom expectations so that if you go into, Mixwit's class or Mr. Zappacosta's class, there's going to be the same expectations there. So you can't get away with one thing in one class. And so that's really, really helped provide clear expectations for students that help students, ultimately feel safe at school and to know what to expect. Oh, and there, actually, I haven't talked about the pictures there, but there is our fabulous soccer team with Mixwit as coach. Yeah, and what was our last one? Oh, that's our field. That's a beautiful field. Yeah, I should talk about the pictures too. And they were first place. Okay, so our fall climate survey, we had a strong student participation. We had 74% of our student population participate in a fall climate survey that I'll be doing again in mid-year, and then I'll be doing one at the end of the year. We had overall favorability. 84% of students it was overall favorable for 84% of the students, 89% overall favorable for teachers and staff, and 82% overall favorable for parent and guardians. The areas of strengths we saw for students was 90% of students felt safe and had a positive well-being. Safety and well-being was 90%. Discipline and fairness was about 88%. The positive learning environment was 85%, and the feeling and sense of belonging, there was 84%, and those were all areas of strength. Some of the student themes that students addressed in the survey. Let's see. So strong friendships, supportive, caring teachers and staff, safe and welcoming school environment, pride in athletics, activity, and the new field, and opportunities to learn and prepare for high school. And so all of this positive feedback was an important, is so important for us to continue to invest in our school culture. The next slide shows some areas of growth. Obviously there are some things on there that students voiced to us where we listened and we heard and we said, okay, well, what can we do? So some areas that we identified that would be some areas of growth to create an action plan. Peer kindness, that was something that students shared that could be worked on at New Brighton. And so we've been emphasizing that with daily reinforcement of announcements through kindness messages and challenges. We've had kindness week. We have our counselor leads any type of peer mediation and restorative processes or support that students need. We also students also expressed interest in additional academic support. We have Avid tutors. So we had Avid tutors and we found a way to utilize our Avid tutors to provide support for all of our students. So we have them twice a week now during lunch to give some extra support to students that need it. We also have our morning and afternoon intervention classes that are funded through ELOP. And we just were granted 2 more classes through ELOP as well. So we'll have some additional after school enrichment and academic intervention programs to help support students. Fairness and consistency. So I think the message from students, some of the students was, rules not being clear or fair, right? Fair. And so that is something that we've really aligned as teachers and admin to have those universal practices. So it is fair and it's communicated. And so students feel like it's fair. So you can't have your cell phone out in that class or not have it allowed in one class, right? It's across the board. You just can't have your cell phone. We are in away for the day school. As soon as you walk on our campus, the phone goes in your backpack, and that applies everywhere. And so that consistency will help create that fairness that students are seeking. Transition and supervision. Yeah, there was some feedback about some congestion in the halls and when students walk from class to class. So we heard that. So we make sure that our campus supervisor is in the most highly congested areas of the hallways, so that they're feeling supportive of as an adult being there. And also, our teachers do a great job. Always ask our teachers to be out during transitions so that they're in the halls. And so you'll see as if you're walking on our campus that the bell rings, teachers are in the hall, not only welcoming and saying goodbye to students, but also kind of being an extra set of eyes out there and helping to supervise. And then facilities feedback. I think one of the things they said about facilities, they love the field, love everything about school. Bathrooms was one of the things that they gave us feedback on. And so mostly things that we could fix, but it was things that maybe were like broken and actually with some specific things. So Mr. Turnbull and I and Pam walked around the campus. We looked specifically at bathrooms to try to address, some of the concerns that they brought up in the survey. So hopefully we can make the facilities and the bathrooms feel better. But yeah, they were right. There were some things that could be fixed, as simple as the way that they got towels to dry their hands, right? So things like that. So the feedback was really, really important. And I hope that as we are addressing this plan, their feedback, that they know that they felt heard, and so that they can continue to give us the feedback, because that feedback is so important. Their student voices. So my next slide, instructional systems, we know drive growth. And when instruction and expectations are aligned within our departments, what I've talked about already, and when this feedback supports the growth and learning, then that's when the students benefit from consistency. And so this just represents the behind the scenes work. I've got some pictures here of us at recent board meetings. But yeah, and it just really just goes to, all of our systems are working right now because of the behind the scenes works of our teachers, the planning that they put, the alignment on all the shared expectations. A teacher can go to a classroom and they can just teach what their subject, and they don't have to. There's nothing that says you have to be aligned with your department or with your other colleagues, but they want to, and they take the extra time to plan together so that the consistency for our students, and it shows in our growth. Our co-teaching teams this year, I was able to introduce our co-teaching model to you all last year. And we had a successful 6th grade rollout last year. We were able to expand it to 7th grade. And so our co-teaching teams for this year, I just wanted to highlight our 6th grade co-teaching teams. It's our language arts teaching team is Mr. Zappacosta and Miss Alley. And we've got our 6th grade math co-teaching teams, Mr. Webb and Miss Barrows. Our 7th grade language arts co-teaching teams this year are Miss Alley and Miss Laurie. And then our 7th grade co-teaching teams for math are Mr. Curzon and Miss Barrows. And it's their partnership that makes this inclusive model possible. They go above and beyond and work really hard to make that partnership possible, so that we can see that extra support in the classroom, what really matters, while they maintain that rigor. So moving forward with purpose, it's my last slide. We just want to continue to make sure that our priorities are clear as a team, with our staff and our teachers, all of us. We want to continue to move students towards nearly met and nearly met towards proficiency. We want to continue to expand our inclusive instructional practices, and we want to continue our theme of connection, character, and confidence as we continue this year, but as we move into next year. And we also just really want to focus on not only that partnership with families by reaching out early and often, but getting feedback as well. Feedback, helps us grow, and sometimes it's hard to hear feedback, but it's what's important for us to make the change in order to continue to improve. And so I finally just want to say that how proud I am of our teachers and staff and all the steady progress that we're doing this year. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions or comments from trustees?
Actually, I want to thank you for coming out here.
Mhm.
This is really,
Thanks,
this is a
Ted.
great part of the meeting is to hear about our schools. You're right up there with a flag salute recognition. So
thank
I
you.
really appreciate you coming out here
Thank you.
this evening and giving us an update. With everything going on for student voices, there's no drop boxes. Everything's digital. Is
Right.
there if they have a concern or
Mhm.
suggestion, is there somehow they could send that off to you, email, text?
That is a really great question. We have our bullying or any type of report it kind of app. We have that. I don't have a feedback box. So
Okay.
I think that's a great question. No, we don't have a feedback box. I feel like I'm approachable and I'm open, and
Oh, no,
we
you
do,
are.
and we do have students coming all the time, Miss Hadrius, reporting things that need to be fixed or some ideas and suggestions. But I think that's really a good question, ongoing, not just the surveys, a couple times a year. How can you tell me and let me know? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much for your presentation. It's always so fun to hear what's going on in the schools.
Thanks, Kelly.
I guess I have questions around the co-teaching model.
Yeah.
It's not the traditional way. The
Mhm.
traditional route is an academic support class where then all those students can be in that small
Yeah.
class, get one-on-one support on any assignment in any subject. So why did New Brighton decide to do co-teaching?
That's a really good question. So one of the reasons what attracted us and our team to the co-teaching model was before we had, let me just go back, let me back it up a little bit. So before we had zero period PE, there was an equity in the amount in the class offerings for students. So students with disabilities or our English language learners. There was a time when they didn't have access to electives. And then they took a learning center class or their support class in lieu of their elective. So we worked together, seeing what can we do to help get our students get access to those classes. Oh, we'll get a zero period PE class. That was one step. So we we have the zero period PE class, which allows students to have an elective during the day. They're still taking 7 classes during the day, though, where their gen ed peers are taking 6 classes a day. So it's a great opportunity, right, to offer that. But I think we could do better, and we all think we could do better. So then, when we were going regularly, the last few years, our district admin have been going to the MTSS conference, and I was sitting and Carissa was sitting in a co-teaching session, and it was really just a co-teaching session, and the conversation started there. How can we create a more inclusive environment so that the students that need it, the extra support, get that support in their gen ed classroom, so they actually don't have to take that extra class? And that's where we were introduced to the co-teaching model and the benefits of the co-teaching model, where they get those service minutes actually in a classroom, 2 teachers instead of 1. And I know every single teacher will say, oh yes, 2 teachers are going to be better than 1 teacher in a classroom. You're going to have a better adult to student ratio. We're not talking about a paraprofessional. We're not talking about a classroom mate, but 2 actual credentialed teachers teaching a class. And so just, talking with the team and working with our SIP partners and just learning about co-teaching and the benefits of creating an inclusive model like that, where students, it maintains the rigor, it gets scaffolded, The differentiation helps support students. And they're not going to the Learning Center class, which is a great class too. Some students are still having that. Some students need that support. So we've been able to create a plan where maybe you only need a co-taught class. Maybe you need that and a learning center, or maybe you need a learning center. So we're actually able to now have options for our student. Before we just had one option and it was a learning center class and that was the class you went to. Now we have options in order to support our students, and not everybody needs the same thing and not everyone needs the same amount of minutes. And so it gives us freedom to give the support properly, individual support, depending on what the student needs. And so we've just have really great success, and like I said, we've rolled it out to 7th grade. I'm not sure what we're doing next year yet. I don't have an answer to what it looks like next year, but we definitely have the staffing for 6th and 7th grade to continue. So I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything else about that, but it's been great.
I think the only thing I would add is just, last year, as we were reflecting on, is it working? Is it doing what we're wanting it to do? Part of that process was doing empathy interviews with students and asking them about their experience at school, being a student with an IEP. And we asked all grades, including grades who had only ever known co-teaching, and then students who had only ever known having Learning Center as their only option. And I think when it comes not just to academic achievement, but also a sense of student belonging and self-concept, I think that's really where we saw a lot of the outcomes. I think there was one answer that really stood out to me. It was a 6th grade student. He had only ever known co-teaching. And Liz Humphreys conducted the empathy interviews. And one of the questions that she asked is, as a student with a disability or with an IEP, have you ever felt, had a negative experience at school because of that in any way, in class or socially? And he just looked at her and said, well, why would you ask that? And I think it was really telling, because from his perspective, his experience, and he's just one student, right? His experience of school was so inclusive and holistic and just supported in the ways that he needed, but also gave him the dignity of experiencing school in the ways that he could without support. And so being really successful. And so I think that's like one story that I think is representative of more stories where students have been able to experience not just the educational benefit of a co-taught class, but also the social and non-academic benefit as well.
And then maybe, so all of the students with IEPs are trying to achieve goals, right? So then that's part of it. But then does that mean that we have to place all those students in these classes, these periods kind of loaded, or
No, so
like what happens if a student doesn't have Mr. Zappacosta?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So if you, so all the so each case manager has their caseload. And so obviously they need to make sure that their students are achieving their goals, right, that are on their IEPs. And so all case managers have access to the students through Flex Class. And that is when, case managers can be working individually on their goals. Yeah. And so not every student would need to have a co-taught language arts class. Not every student needs a co-taught math class, right? So again, we look at what they need and then we place them appropriately. So, yeah.
And
I
then
hope that
Learning
answers your
Center,
question.
is that like an after school activity, or is that its own class?
No, so Learning Center is like an academic support class in the day, and it's an opportunity when the case manager works directly with the students on their goals. Because each student with an IEP has goals numbering from like 1 to, I don't know, how many have you seen? What's the most?
1 million.
1 million. So you can have a lot of goals or one. And so the case manager's job is to support students in reaching those goals and to work with them on those skill building sets or skill building goals. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I appreciate, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's a different model than I'm used to.
Mhm.
So I'm having to expand,
It is.
and like Carissa said, is how do we know this is working? So that's I was just, but
We
thanks for
have-
the extra information about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you guys seem to really like it.
Yeah, and we actually
There's
have
a lot of
some data
enthusiasm
from
for it.
6th grade. we do have some data that shows some big successes.
If you come to the March 18th
Oh,
board meeting.
there you go. We'll have data for you.
I'll be there, but.
There will be data.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome.
Hey, Christine.
Hi,
Yeah,
Robert.
thank you. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming. Just to dovetail a little bit on what Callie was saying. What do the teachers, not of the other students, but the main classroom teachers and kind of the other students in the class think? And I totally understand getting the opinion of the individual and maybe their teacher, but does it flow with the classroom? Does the other teacher find that sometimes it's disruptive to other students having to double kind of teach or have that in there? Like, so is this what everybody kind of is on board with this?
Yeah, it's such a good question because when we first started it, you're speaking just like a teacher that would be in it talking, right? Not knowing what it was going to look like. How am I going to teach? And then once you're there, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm teaching the way that I normally teach. And I actually wish some of the team could share with you all the initial fears and then the reality. I think the feedback that I got, at least from students, it's nobody knows, and it's the class, right? No one knows they have two teachers. They have two teachers. There's no indifference. They don't know one happens to be a special education teacher. It's two teachers, which I think Chris was talking about stigma. I know our special education teachers really appreciate, they're not that teacher, right? The students all recognize them. Any student can come up to them and help them or get help from them and seek help. And it's really partnering for the entire class. And so it's amazing to see in practice and how good the flow and how well the flow is. But yeah, the kids, I would say, yeah, they don't know any different.
And the kids with the IE, like one of my kids went through Main Street, New Brighton, had an IEP, and the last thing he ever wanted was to be known or
no one knows.
in a class and all the rest of the kids
No
saying
one
that that's
knows.
the kid.
Yeah, no one knows.
No.
No, students don't know no, students don't know.
Okay.
No, students don't know.
Good.
Yeah.
And then also wanted to talk to you about something else, restorative accountability.
Sure.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think, restorative accountability, a part of our discipline policy. We have a 4-step discipline policy. I could go, I don't know how detailed you'd like me to go, but I'll go as detailed to answer your question. So within our 4-step progressive discipline policy, we have consequences matched with restorative accountability, right? We don't do one without the other. Part of, if you're getting in trouble about something or you've made a mistake, there are many pieces that need to be, the student needs to take accountability for. Obviously, there'll probably be a consequence. And then the accountability piece of restoring or repairing any type of relationship that you've wronged, or just a restorative meaning reflection. It could be some sort of reflection or accountability project. But basically, the discipline is hand in hand. I think one thing that gets lost when we talk about restorative is that, well, there's no consequences with restorative practices. And I think, and that's what it is. When we think about discipline, we think about, obviously the student taking accountability, holding them accountable, being reflective, repairing any type of relationship, any harm that they've caused, but then also at the same time, you might need to have some detentions. You might need to be having some structured days, and you're going to maybe have a Friday school. And so those things are all attached to the accountability piece. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome.
My questions were covered already, so that's fantastic. I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate how much you've highlighted student voice and getting
Yeah.
feedback from students
Thank
and
you.
parents, and then sharing that with us. On a personal note, I can't believe that my baby is in his, but like in the last year of my kid's life.
Mhm.
last stretch
I know.
of time at New Brighton. So I've been a parent in this
Mhm.
district and
For a long time.
and right, I know,
Mhm.
same. So seeing the growth at this campus has really been
Thank you.
enormous. So I
Thank you.
appreciate you and thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you for the feedback on, hearing from the students and then the
Mhm.
responsiveness to, taking action. Some of them are small, but they're responsive and they're right
Mhm.
away. And I think
Yeah.
that really is meaningful to the students who shared their voices about hallway safety or bathrooms and getting to see some of those improvements made in real time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Andrews.
Thank you very much. I hope you have an early night. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, any public comment in the audience? Okay. All right, we are now moving on to our action items. This is the consider accepting Soquel Union Elementary School District report on annual fiscal audit for 24-25.
Yes, and we have Paul from Siobhan and Associates who will be presenting our audit. Hi, Paul. Thank you for sitting in the waiting room for so long.
No, not a problem at all. Hey, I appreciate you guys, the board and the superintendent for inviting me out to share the audit results of our June 30th, 2025 audits. I know some of these numbers go way back and you guys are dealing with much more current numbers, but I will cover them just so you know where we stood as of June 30th. Let me share my screen and I'll get right into it. All right. You see the PDF on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me just start out talking about some of our auditing standards and what we adhere to. How
I can't see that page number.
It's in your doc. Just what page is it about?
this is page 9.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can widen this here a little bit. Okay, does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's good.
Okay. So I'll start out with the standards that we follow in our audit process, and then I'll get into some of the key financial highlights, and then onto the audit results. And feel free to jump in anytime, ask me questions as I go along if you have any. So what we're looking at here is the table of and summary of net positions. And when we conduct our audit, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, they put out auditing standards that we follow in our audit. And because the district is a local government, the Government Accountability Office, they put out government auditing standards, which we also utilize in our audit of the district. And whenever an entity or organization expends more than $750,000 in federal awards, they're subject to a single audit. So the Office of Budget and Management, they issue a compliance supplement known as Uniform Guidance that we utilize in our audit of the district's federal programs. So this last year, we selected the special education program as our major program to review. And then the Education Audit Appeals Panel, which is a part of the State Controller's Office, they put out an audit guide every year for the state programs. And we use that to audit the district state programs. And there have been a lot of changes in the last few years, a lot of new programs, as you guys are well aware. And then lastly, because you have the bond measure, Proposition 39 is we utilize that as well as the compliance supplement put out by the Education Audit Appeals Panel. They have a supplement in there, or an appendix, I guess, in there that it gives guidance on auditing construction bond programs for school districts. And our audit objective is really to provide reasonable assurance about whether or not the district's financial statements are free of material misstatements. And so the way we do that, we came out about halfway through the year for the interim audit, where we looked at the district's internal controls and did some compliance work. And then at the end of the year, after your team has closed the books, we come back out and we crunch the numbers, we perform some standard procedures, analytical procedures, and we finish up our compliance work. So I'll move on to the financial highlights if there aren't any questions on our process or standards. Okay, so the statement of net position, the main things I wanted to point out is that you see that there's an increase of just under 774,000. And the biggest thing that happened is you see the increase in current assets here. This is going to be due to the additional cash that you guys received from the bond proceeds. And so you see the liabilities went up for that debt, the new bonds you guys issued, and so the cash went up as well. So that's expected. Then on table 4, which is page, this is page 13. So table 4, what you see is overall your fund balance as of June 30th had gone up over $18.3 million. Most of that coming from the building fund, which received the bond proceeds. But you see here the general fund, which is the district's main operating account, did have a decrease of just under $1.4 million. And so I can reference you all the way to the end of the report. Look, I landed right on it. So here, this is the financial trends, which shows the general fund over the last 3 years. And so what you see here, you guys were running a deficit for the last 2 of the 3 years. And then general fund balance decreased by 1.7 over the last 3 years overall. But this year, with this decrease, you've got an ending just under or just over 5.8 million, giving you a 12.4 reserve, which is still a healthy reserve, but it is a declining trend. So I know we're talking to management and stuff. You guys are deep in budget cuts and stuff like that. You guys are aware of the situation. Yeah, you know, as of the last year, you had budgeted for deficit spending. So I assume at this point you guys are addressing this issue here with your current budget process.
I'm so sorry to stop you. Could you, we're in a really big room. Can you make it really clear what page you're on so that I can follow in my docket as you're explaining? Because what you just said sounded important and I was trying to find where we are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said the page. Yeah, this is page 70. Yeah.
So what was that page you just highlighted?
17, did he say?
70.
What is it?
0. 7.
You mean the fund balance page?
Oh, 7.
The page number.
It's page 70. Yeah.
The last
So seven.
we were paid.
It's not going to be the docket page
Right.
number though.
That's 102 in the docket. That helps, Colin.
It does.
Page 13.
Yeah.
Jumped to 7.
Yeah, Paul, we're in a big room and the screen's kind of far away.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll speak for myself, even though I'm wearing my contact lenses, my vision's at this time of night, not the best, so we can follow along on our docket.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. So like, if you get a chance to take a look at, you want me to repeat anything, or do you have any questions about anything? So this is the change over the last 3 years here. Each year you got the 2 years of deficit spending, and this is your reserve right here for the last 3 years as well. Kind of the key things take away from this schedule.
Sorry, could you just give the highlights for this page again?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I was saying that over the last 3 years, the district has had, the general fund has decreased over $1.7 million for the last 3 years, and 2 of the last 3 years have been deficit spending. Your reserve has dropped down to 12.4, but it's still a healthy reserve, but it is on the decline. And if you look at your ADA, you also see there's declining enrollment as well. This is really ADA, not enrollment, but they kind of are related. And so, yeah, and then even with the budgeted amount from last year, I was saying you guys are working with much more current numbers and budgets. So I was saying you're dealing with this at this point to address this deficit spending.
And that's
And
combined unrestricted and restricted, correct?
No, this is just unrestricted. So yeah, this is everything but the restricted portion. That's how that's how we come up with this reserve. Yeah, the restricted is not in here. And that's all I have on the numbers of the key highlights. If you have any questions, if not, I can go into the audit results.
Any questions on that section? I think you can keep going, Paul.
Okay, so I'm on page 90. And so When it comes to the financial statements, we issued an unmodified opinion, which is a good thing. It means that your financial statements were fairly presented in all material respects. And then when it comes to internal controls over financial reporting, let me just get to that report, which is here. So the government auditing standards. When it comes to internal controls of financial reporting and on compliance, our audit did not identify any deficiencies in internal controls over financial reporting that we considered to be material weaknesses or deficiencies. And our test disclosed no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. And when it comes to compliance, the district actually cleared the findings from last year. So at the end of the report here, you see that the prior year, meaning fiscal year 24, we had this finding on your cash and investments, and that has since cleared. We have no findings this year related to that. So congratulations on getting that corrected. And so the district complied in all material respects with the compliance requirements of state programs, federal programs, as well as the Proposition 39 for your bond measure. And we had no significant uncorrected adjustments, no difficulties during our audit, and no disagreements with management. So overall, a great job for this year. And I want to thank the team because a lot of new programs, a lot of stuff that we're looking at. I know you guys went to a transition recently, so all of that was quite a bit for the district to go through. So I appreciate everyone's help, all departments that were involved in getting us through the audit. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions from board members?
I don't have any for Paul, but Allison, would you mind just reminding us of like how long the audit process takes? Like how many days roughly are people here performing the audit? Like what the process is from your office?
So they do two. They do an interim audit, as Paul was referring to. So that's going to start up in April. And so they'll start working and we pull documents and send them to them ahead of time. They come on site for about 3 to 4 days and they work endlessly, but then they continue to go through our documents. It could be a few months that they're going through them. And then we come to our year-end audit, where again, they come out for about 3 to 4 days. We pull a massive amount of documents for them, send them a bunch of documents. They have access to our entire financial system. So they're free to go in our financials and look at whatever they need to. And so again, that's another couple months that they kind of go through everything. So they're very thorough when they examine.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay. If there are no other questions or comments, this is an action item. Is there a motion to accept the fiscal audit for 24-25?
I'll make the motion. Any audit.
Oh, is there any public comment?
Don't
we open it to the room for questions?
We can open it if, is there any, there was no public comment on email. Was there any? There's no public comment.
Oh, no public comment on this item. Okay.
We're just being careful, making sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
no comment. I'm happy to make a motion to accept our annual fiscal audit for 24-25.
I'll second the motion.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, our audit has been accepted. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, our next action item is our mid-year LCAP review.
Presentation up there. That up or not? I'll just go through it. You have
Okay.
it on your, you have it on your laptops there. So there's a mid-year reporting requirement now for our most important plan, the LCAP. And so I'm proud to say that for the last decade, we've always done what we call LCAP bites. I think the genesis of this regulation was that sometimes boards were only seeing the LCAP when it came before them in June. And it's like, what did we talk about? What are the goals? And so that's one of the reasons we instituted the LCAP bite, so that at every board meeting, you're hearing some component of the LCAP and what the progress on that is. And so this is just a version of that. And this board meeting's LCAP bite. So I will go on to the second slide, which is page 186 in your docket. And so that just tells a little bit about this requirement for the LCAP mid-year update, and that we have to do that by the end of February each year. The next page, 187 in your docket, is the supplemental budget from LCFF, which is the funding source of our LCAP. And that number is based on a lot of things, including unduplicated percentage of students. Next page is just some updates. And so key programs and services outlined in the LCAP include curriculum and supplemental program updates, DLI, expanded learning opportunities, English learner and multilingual learner support programs, math training and coaching, and key leadership team progress. So hopefully those are some of the things that ring a bell from our regular LCAP bites. Next page in the docket just talks about how LCAP metrics are categorized at this point in the year. Some are unknown, some are in progress, and some are known. And so that's how things are tracked. And same thing for expenditures. Some are in progress, some are completed, and all are aligned with fiscal resources and programmatic resources to achieve goals. The next page, page 191 in your docket, is just a reminder on the 4 LCAP goals. On the next page, it's just indicating that we try to tie everything we do to the LCAP. That was the original intent, is instead of having a million differentiated plans, there's one plan that guides the district. So when sites do their single plans for student achievement, and when we do safety plans, when we do student accountability report cards, there should be alignment with our LCAP goals. Next page in the docket just summarizes some of the data sources, and hopefully, again, these are items that aren't unfamiliar to you, either seeing them at board updates or seeing them in the SoCal Scoop or other places where they're regular updated, not just at the time that LCAPs do. So social emotional health survey results, we heard about some of that in Principal Hadrius's presentation. LCAP survey results, we had our parent and guardian survey go out recently, and we had about 200 responses. We talk a lot, we try to have very specific data on chronic absenteeism and attendance rates. Again, you heard about that kind of naturally in Christina's presentation. Growth on our main internal summative assessment, which is iReady. Other LCAP surveys, such as the family LCAP survey, and making sure our facility is up to speed with the state's official facility inspection tool, otherwise known as FIT. On the next page, just some positive trends that we're seeing. As was mentioned in the presentation earlier, positive trends on social emotional health, positive responses on surveys from families and students and staff, a decrease in chronic absenteeism, very data-driven decrease that we can see there, maintaining a low suspension rate, and 100% of our schools on the facility inspection tool are at good or better. On the next page, there's just a little bit about mid-year progress, positive trends. Here you can see iReady trends in reading. On the next page, you can see iReady trends in math. On the next page, again, it's just some other data that we can use that's previously mentioned: chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, engagement, and mathematics. Focus areas for the mid-year report are focus on English learners, students with IEPs, and duly identified student disproportionality, making sure those students that are in both of those groups that we're especially monitoring. And then finally, just funds not expended by the, so a little bit about funds tied to the LCAP, funds not expended by the end of the year. Sometimes are due to staffing changes or lack of staffing. professional development changes, movement of expenditures from LCFF supplemental to a more restrictive funding when possible. Always want to use your more restrictive funds first. And we have ongoing budget meetings with site administration to support the plan and the implementation of spending. That's just a real quick mid-year LCAP update. And again, I hope a lot of those things aren't new and ring a bell from many previous LCAP bites.
Any questions or comments from trustees?
I have one, on your second to last slide on the mid-year progress focus areas was, is there something that kind of bubbled up that to bring those 3 bullet points as these are things that we need to devote more resources and more attention to was?
Great question. Yes, always looking at our data and opportunity gaps and achievement gaps. We know that those are the student groups that need the extra support. And so that's usually, these are the groups that we keep an eye on. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I know we get to hear a lot of the kind of the student and parent voice on their LCAP feedback through the community voice gatherings. Is that something that's going to be on a docket coming up, or we see some of the survey results? And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
thank you.
And just, could you explain the last slide? Any funds not expended by the end of the year are due to, and then the lack of staffing? What's that mean?
Yeah, so like with any budget, you plan it out at one point and then sometimes things change along the way. And so those are reasons that maybe, we always attempt to spend the money that we have, but sometimes when it doesn't get fully expended, those are some of the reasons why. I don't know if you want to add anything to that at all.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up. We have the goal of, meeting each one of those LCAP goal and options, but sometimes we're not able to for some reason or another. So sometimes there will be excess of funding left for a specific goal and action. And it could be various reasons why we don't need it. One, the cost of what we're planning to do doesn't come out to be as much as we anticipated, or two, we don't have the staffing or time to do.
Because it's not a specific position, right? That we're necessarily, it's more a function of
Programs
the
and stuff.
LCAP. It's a
Yeah.
part of the LCAP that, okay. Okay, thanks.
I'm thinking I could be wrong, but like that I remember from many years back, like we had a teacher on special assignment, and that was something that was built into the LCAP, and then maybe that person left the position, and so some of that money might not have been able to be spent. Is that a
Good
good
example.
example?
Yeah.
Good example.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the specific example.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah. Any other questions, comment? Any public comment?
Nothing on email.
Public comment? All right, do I have a motion to approve the mid-year update on the LCAP? I'll make the motion. Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay. Now we have the comprehensive school safety plan.
Right. Another important plan that we're legally required to have updated by the end of February. And so you've probably heard this from me many times, but the comprehensive school safety plan is made up of 2 parts. Part 1 is a public viewing plan that talks about programs and ways that we work to have welcoming and safe environments. So it's more global, and that's public and it's on our website. And then the part 2 safety plan is more specific emergency readiness, nuts and bolts. What do we do? How do we respond to an emergency? Those we don't put publicly for obvious reasons, and those the board already looked at in closed session. So the focus on this is the safety plan part 1. And so just a little bit about how we go about getting input. Back in November, we host a meeting that includes law enforcement representatives from City of Capitola Police Department and Santa Cruz Sheriff's Office, the County Sheriff's Office. Those are obviously the 2 agencies that support us with law enforcement. Here at New Brighton, it's Capitola PD, and at our elementary schools, it's the Sheriff's Office. And so they're at that November meeting. Some of us are in person. It's a hybrid meeting. Some of us are there virtually. We have parent representatives, teacher representatives, counselors, campus supervisors, and our administrative team. So we try to make that November meeting like a real kickoff and let everybody look at what's in the existing plan and get their input and questions as we develop the plan moving forward to this point. Along the way, I was able to go out to each school's school site council meeting this year, which was an additional step. Again, just wanted to make sure, I just like to go out and make sure, like when somebody says comprehensive school safety plan, there's more and more people that know what that is. It's not like a vague safety plan. It's a very specific one that the California Department of Education requires. And so we try to do as much reaching out to the community as possible. And so you'll see some of those folks listed there that were participants in the plan. I'm not going to go through it page by page. I'm going to hit some highlights. A lot of the comprehensive school safety plan part 1 is what we call boilerplate, right? It's like board policies that already exist in our policy handbook that have to just be copied and added into the plan. So there's nothing new there, but they're really important ones. Obviously on mandated reporting, for example, making sure that all of our employees are trained on that. Those are the kind of board policies that are baked in, but that I won't go into great detail on because they already exist. Some of the data that you will find in here are ones that have been mentioned in a couple other places tonight, such as suspension rates and chronic absenteeism. The idea being that those numbers will improve, the safer that students feel coming to school, the more confident they feel, the more welcome they feel coming to school. So you'll see data points in there. Every other year, we administer the California Healthy Kids Survey. And so this is an off year. We'll administer that again next year to grades 5 and 7. So we have those elementary and middle school data points. But then, as was talked about in the New Brighton presentation, schools supplement that with surveys, climate surveys of their own in the off years. And then the real meat, so that's some of the data that is gauged by, and you can see the trends on those, where our suspensions rates have gone over the years, and with the context of county and state data there, just to provide like what is a 1% suspension rate, within the where does that sit with state and county data? Same thing with chronic absenteeism data. There's a graph there on page 208 of the docket that shows over the last several years what our chronic absenteeism rate has been, and in comparison what the chronic absenteeism rate for the county and the state have been. Credit to all of our staff out there that support our families. Our chronic absenteeism rate has declined at a greater rate than those two comparison groups. Something to be proud of. And then I'm going to fast forward you to page 210 in the docket, where it really talks about the strategies. Most of these are ongoing. We do look at them, and every once in a while we'll drop one off. That maybe it's just fully institutionalized. And so the big picture strategies are family engagement for student safety, always looking for ways to support families in some of the ways that are, especially aligned with modern times, like social media, like e-bike safety. We've recently had a nice meeting with City of Capitola Police Department, and we're looking to implement some even further safety guidelines around e-bikes. So we're always looking for ways to engage with partners in the community and then provide trainings and opportunities for our families. Another strategy is to refine and improve the use of restorative practices. Again, I think Ms. Hadrius's presentation delved into that pretty nicely. The third strategy is the standard command response for schools. So I think this is our third full year now, and we're really appreciative to our County Office of Education. Besides our law enforcement partners, our County Office of Education is a crucial partner in school safety. You can't do this work alone. And they really spearheaded this effort to simplify and streamline a lot of the language around emergency response. So we have our evacuation, reverse evacuation, hall check, for example, so that when those terms are said to any officer in North County, regardless of the law enforcement agency they're coming from, regardless of the school they're visiting, they mean the same thing. And so that's been really helpful. And now our drills revolve around that terminology. Another component of our safety plan is to ensure threat assessment protocol training for our administrators. Credit to Carissa, she's really led this effort with what's called the CSTAG model. which is Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guidelines. So it's a very specific way to go about when we hear a threat, when we're made aware of a threat, to try to quickly have a protocol to determine whether that is a transient or substantive threat, and then guidelines about how to follow up on that. And our administrators are trained in that, and then their training is updated each year. Same thing with incident command systems, ICS. This is those, the situations when there really is an emergency, and how to engage with law enforcement, how to use the staff at your school, to meet needs. And in those safety plan part twos, those guidelines and those roles are all spelled out. And our principals do that early in the school year, because it's never made sense to us that we would wait until this time of year to do those part two safety plans. So those are done early in the year, like in September, and we just keep them updated. The sixth strategy is on anti-bullying. And so you'll see that each one of our schools has an anti-bullying plan posted very visibly, and just really doing a one-pager to try to outline all of the great work that staff across the board, for example, including our counselors, do at all tiers to support students and discouraging bullying. And finally is, we always call this like the hardening of the campuses one, strategy 7, like security cameras, vape detectors, additional perimeter fencing. These were things that we didn't have several years ago, and where each year we've grown. So we started with security cameras here at New Brighton, and then over the years have added them to each one of our school sites, and now Santa Cruz Gardens has them. And so all of our schools have those security cameras. And perimeter fencing, again, something that, kind of stands out when you look at the openness of our schools. Right here at New Brighton, we used to have, the park, there was no barrier between the public park and our field. And so, we've always said we wanted to work from the inside out and boost mental health counseling supports, for example. And that's where we really put our initial energy and effort. And now with what I would like to think is a very robust mental health support system, including counselors, and with the good fortune of the community of approving our bond, we can now go into that aspect of hardening our campuses. For example, Main Street Elementary School now has complete perimeter fencing. Why did we start at Main Street? It hosts our primary and upper grade, our elementary SDC programs, where there's more of a chance to have a student who elopes. And so it's not only to keep people from coming in sometimes, but to protect our students who may elope and don't have access to the public streets. That, in a nutshell, is our comprehensive school safety plan part 1, and I welcome any of your questions.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, Rob.
So I'm not sure what page on the docket is, but it says SUESD California Healthy Kids Survey. And when I was going through this the other day, I just needed some clarification. So it says that in the 22-23 year 5th grade students said alcohol or drug use was at 17%. The next year it went up in 5th grade from 17% to 23%. Yet the 7th graders say that only 1% of the current, alcohol or drug use. And I'm wondering why 22% more 5th graders feel that there is consistent alcohol or drug abuse, as opposed to 1% in the 7th graders. And then even more confusing, down in the footnotes, it says a very positive note is regarding CHKS data for 5th graders, in that the 2 administrations in a row, 22 to 23 and 24 to 25, 0% of 5th graders report any current use of cigarettes or vaping. Yet in the data table, it says that 23% are using alcohol and vaping. So I'm not sure where we got that positive thing at 0% when the data table says 23. And still, it's incredibly bizarre to me that 23% of 5th graders say that there's alcohol and drug abuse, and yet only 1% of 7th graders say that. And that's down from 13% 2 years ago. Obviously, that's a concern of all of ours.
So a couple of things. One, obviously, these are student administered surveys. So students answer these surveys to their best ability and honesty. And then also the questions are phrased differently. You'll notice that for fifth grade, it's any time ever in their lifetime. Have they been exposed to that? And then for the seventh graders is if they're engaged in that currently. So it is a different frame of reference.
Oh, the questions are different.
Yeah, and I saw that too, current versus lifetime, but it's still just 23% of our fifth graders believe in their lifetime at school, they've seen alcohol or drug use. That seems like a really high percentage.
I would agree. It's concerning.
You know, and they're only in fifth grade, you know, how much are they seeing? You know, well, yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to it. I think that's a really high number. 23% of our fifth graders have seen alcohol or drug abuse, and
Well, seen it, isn't it?
well, it's
Used it.
lifetime, used it, you're right.
Yeah, used it.
Used it in their lifetime, and I don't know. I think we should make that a priority. You know, that's a really, really high number to me. So I'm not sure what we can, you know, but just if we can put it on a note to
Absolutely. Yes.
make that a
Definitely something that we
priority.
want to focus on.
Maybe we can interview some of those kids and find out what, you know, how 23% of them are seeing and or using drugs or alcohol. That's really young.
It's interesting. It's a good question. And it's just really interesting, you know, 24-15, it was 19% of sixth graders. And then the next year it was, or 16, the other year, the next administration, it was 27%. Then it was 21%, then it was 17%, and then it was 23%. Like, I'm really curious about the phrasing of the question and how it might land with students. So I appreciate us maybe getting some more follow-up. Because at face value, what we're seeing here is super concerning.
It doesn't answer all of the questions, and I think they're really important and valid. Some of our counselors, we had similar questions. I thought, how can we get more information? And so while certainly it doesn't address everything, for fifth grade, how the question reads is, have you ever drunk beer, wine, or alcohol, or have you ever had a sip? And at some of our sites, our counselors just met with some students and asked them, hey, like, did you think that question was weird? And a few students, total deadpan, were like, well, yeah, every Sunday. Communion. Right. And so I think it's a really important question to be asking students. And also I think that developmental level is also really appropriate because it helps us understand, well, they're so literal. Like, yeah, I have a sip of wine every Sunday. Sure. Yeah.
And yet only 1% of seventh graders take that same sip of wine on Sunday.
Well, no, you'll see the italics right under the chart talk about how that seventh grade question is phrased as during the past 30 days on how many days did you use 1 or more drinks of alcohol, 5 or more drinks of alcohol in a row. That is within a couple of hours, marijuana, inhalants, et cetera. So it's a lot more specific.
Right.
The point is well taken, though.
The comprehensive safety plan, this is a place where we would address, I don't know, youth usage or youth addiction or something, right?
Certainly here and in many other places.
Right.
So consistent with state standards and above, we have instruction on substance use and prevention. We also partner with our County Office of Education on TUPE, which is Tobacco Use Prevention and Education. And so Ryan Pope, who's one of our counselors here, is our site lead for TUPE instruction. We have access to additional modules. You know, Christina talked about restorative practices and interventions, and really good restorative practice restore harm to the community, but also to the student, right? No one is innocent and no one is not affected when something goes wrong. So our staff are trained in the implementation of the TUPE modules for both tobacco vapes and marijuana vapes. And so we have a tiered system where if a student has a first offense, there's like a tier 1 level of education that students engage in addition to universal instruction across grade levels consistent with content standards on drug use prevention and abuse and its relationship to mental health, things like that. And so, you know, the school safety plan is one way that we address that, but then there are all also universal ways through instruction that we address it as well.
Thanks.
Maybe we can narrow down that question for the fifth graders, like just to school or just among students or.
We
something.
can in other avenues. I mean, obviously, we don't have control of how chicks ask that question.
That's a California survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, healthy kids, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. thanks. Any other questions? No questions from public comment?
They show you end results for other schools that are administering these
It's a good question.
and just throwing it out there, the seventh graders probably not to admit to any.
Right, sure. Yeah,
I think that they are fine. So I think that I'm curious if you would find that not just in our district, but as a standard operating.
Yeah, we look at county and state results for context. You know, I generally, yes, but I don't have the data memorized, so I can.
no, I agree. Can I? Yeah.
Well, and I do think, you know, even though, yes, it is alarming, but looking at, like one Amanda said, you know, that the trends haven't gone from 2% to 25% this year, right? Like they're being interpreted the same way over many administrations. So I don't know if that's comforting or not, but it's not, it doesn't stand out.
Is there another comment?
I have two boys that went through the same thing
Same.
and they would always, and this is no reflection on anything, but they would say, oh yeah, it's all over. People are vaping and doing this and doing that. And, you know, now you're on the board and you're like, well, how do we stop all of it? Yeah. Yeah. Especially, you know, I get the seventh graders, they're trying to experiment, you know, but the fifth grade seems really, really young. Yeah. Yeah.
Was there anything on public comment?
No.
Okay.
I was able to quickly look at the Santa Cruz County data for that. It doesn't give us specific items, but it gives you the lifetime alcohol use for fifth grade. And the county average was 18%.
For 24, 25?
This is for data compiled from 21 through 23, because districts are in different data cycles.
All right.
This is fifth grade.
So you said 18?
Correct.
So, I mean, that's a little bit lower than what our average was for that time span. Yeah.
Higher than 18, but yeah.
Kelly asked, did it have seventh grade?
Yeah.
Carissa?
How fast are you?
Oh, sorry, I thought it was right. No. Okay, that's okay.
Question.
It's okay.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept or approve the comprehensive school safety plan part 1?
I'll make a motion to approve the comprehensive safety plan.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
For what it was worth, Carissa found that it was 4% for seventh grade for that same question.
The differentiation for the question for seventh grade is 1 or more days in the past 30 days. For us, I think it was 1%. And then for Santa Cruz County for seventh grade specifically, it's 4%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we now have a resolution
reaffirming the values of SUESD as a welcoming district for all students.
So this was a resolution that the board first considered and approved last year. And usually once a resolution such as this has been approved once, we put it in consent. But mindfully, given the times that we're living in and some of what we've seen happening to vulnerable groups, we thought it was better to have this as a singular action item for the board's consideration. And in essence, it's just saying that all does mean all. We support all students with a special emphasis on vulnerable groups such as LGBT plus community and our immigrant community. And so I believe that the resolution aligns with the district's values and is important to consider as a standalone action item.
Questions or comments?
Just a comment. Thanks for pulling it out, and I really appreciated the wording.
Question, I'm sorry, a question that I wish I did had, I'm not as fast as Chris on the computer. The whereas about board policy 1445 and AR 1445, is that the policy that was in our consent agenda that Jen's like,
That's
yes.
the new, that's
That's
the new.
I just wanted to make sure we captured the new policy that
That's
was
the new
just
one.
in the consent agenda in here. Thank you. I'm sorry. I
No,
couldn't
tying it all together.
do this fast enough. Wonderful. I think it's, it's incredibly important, and I'm glad that it's here as an action item. Yes.
Anything else? Public comment?
Nothing on email.
Public comment? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution in the matter of reaffirming the values of SUSD as a welcoming district for all students?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Actually,
Oh,
I
I
roll
played the
call.
roll call. I just by habit always.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
trustee Jackson Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Donald,
Aye.
trustee Edmondson,
Aye.
trustee Dickinson.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we have considered approval of the resolution to decrease the number of certificated employees due to a reduction in particular kinds of services.
So this is regarding release time for elementary teachers. And so, we have some wonderful visual and performing arts teachers that not only enrich our students' curriculum with what they, how they serve students, but during that time, they give our very hardworking teachers some contractually obligated release time, right? And so what we have found this year as we match up positions to the folks that can fill these VAPA positions is that sometimes what works on paper doesn't work in practicality, right? So in a particular school, there is a full 1.0 full-time equivalency, so full-time 1.0 FTE individual who serves as the teacher for all release time. And so while the number of minutes add up correctly, the model doesn't work as well as what we've had traditionally at other sites, where there still might be the same equivalent of full-time equivalency. For example, I'll just use a very simple example, is you could have 2 0.5 teachers, 2 half-time teachers serving release time simultaneously, giving more flexibility on which classes can be released from their homeroom teacher. And so that's total of 1.0 FTE, right? Having one person do that is still 1.0 FTE, but there's not as much flexibility. And so we have just learned through trial and error that having more than one person providing that release time is more practical. And so that's why we're taking this step to reduce that particular position from a 1.0 to a 0.5.
Any questions? Are there any individuals that are specifically affected who would want to be the full person, but are no longer going to be the full person?
It will have staffing implications, yes, but we'll go through our regular process. Like the particular person who will be impacted is still entitled to the FTE that they would regularly be entitled to. And so whether that's in this type of VAPA position or another position, we'll go through our personnel processes.
No questions, comments?
Glad nobody's getting laid off.
Public comment?
Nothing on email. That, so we'll determine that as we go, but what we're contractually obligated to is the number of hours in a week to release teachers, and that, of course, we will live up to. No, this is a reduction in force just for a particular kind of service. Yeah. That's the best combo. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah, and especially if we're not talking about, it doesn't sound like you're hiring a different 25 necessarily to fill that gap, so we have two parallel things, but I'm also here to say that the 120 minutes, for example, or the 100 minutes of release time are going to stay.
Yeah, yeah.
That here right now.
Absolutely.
Double dipping of just 2 hours, maybe that's the shift.
Good summary. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the resolution to decrease the number of certificated employees due to a reduction in particular kinds of services?
I'll go ahead and make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so roll.
Trustee Gray.
Gotta say that whole thing.
Trustee Jackson Miller.
You
Aye.
did.
Trustee Donnelly.
Trustee Donnelly?
Trustee Donnelly.
Aye.
Trustee Edmondson.
Aye.
Trustee Dickinson.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes. Okay, and our last open session item is approval of the contract with Central Coast Construction for the new public door entry door at Mead Street.
Okay, so this will complete the safety project at Main Street, and this is gonna be through bond funds. So at towards the beginning of the year, we had to add additional fencing sections to secure students that were eloping. So we did that piece, but now we need to add a second door to the office. So the way it's gonna work is you go in one door, you check into the office, and then you come out another door, so then you'll be on the other side of the fence. And with that, we're gonna add another window as well in the office area. And again, this is all bond funds. The cost to the bond will be about a little over $48,000. But then it would complete the fencing project at Main Street.
Is this one of those situations where we went out to bid for this, or this is tell me more about that.
So this is under CUPCA because it's only $48,000. We did get a couple bids though. We did do our due diligence to make sure we were, choosing the correct contractor and price as well is what we looked at. Just to ensure that we're doing our due diligence.
And have we worked with them before?
Yes. Yeah.
Other questions, comments? Public comment? Public comment?
Nothing on email.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the contract with Central Coast Construction for the new public entry door and window at Main Street Elementary?
I'll make the motion. Oh, Robert made the motion.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
make the motion to consider to approve the contract with Central Coast Construction Company, CENCON Incorporated, for the new public entry door and window system at Main Street Elementary School.
Do I have a second?
I would love to second that. Well-read motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that action passes. Is there any remaining correspondence? All right, we are going to adjourn open session. May I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourning open session and we are resuming closed session. 9:32.
Thanks for sticking it out for the whole meeting.
You know, we love that. We're gonna get used to this every 2 weeks. Want to see you guys here.